just trust the process, legitimately, because it is okay to be in a roadblock, but one, that's just also a part of the process as well. You're going to overcome it, and then you'll probably make something better than what you usually make, you know? And I feel like that's a personal thing as well, because that shit always happens to me. I be taking these breaks for a while, and then I open up FL, and I could fucking, like, pop up a fucking banger for, like, within an hour. It's crazy to me. So I'm pretty sure if I can do that, everyone can do it in a way, if that makes sense, if they just trust the process, you know?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. It's great to see you guys again. And as always, we have another exciting episode for you all this evening. I have with me tonight none other than the very versatile DJ, VRChat DJ, and also IRL DJ, as well as music producer Terkoiz EDM. He's Terkoiz EDM on Twitch, but he's mainly known as Terkoiz to everyone else. He's been a big part of many communities. I've listened to his sets. I've listened to his music. We're actually listening to his music right now in the background, and I'm really looking forward to sharing, learning more about him along with you guys, as well as, of course, you know, giving you guys a chance to have that special connection that I always do my best to bring to my podcast. But before we get started, I just want to quickly say thank you to my patrons. Hey there. This is me, Nepherti, here, and I am making a video about my Patreon that many of you may or may not know about. YouTube is still hitting me with copyright infringements. Obviously, I want to have music on my videos on YouTube, so they continue to hit me with copyright infringements. I am now affiliate on Twitch, so I do get support on Twitch now, so that has changed. But at the end of the day, Patreon still gives a larger cut. So at the end of the day, I want to just reinform you guys. Many of you who may or may not know, you can take a look at my Patreon right now actually, at patreon.com/Nepherti. It'll be right at the bottom underneath my boobs. And basically, it's a great way for you to support me aside from, you know, Twitch. And that's pretty much all. Patreon is a great way for you to support me in a more direct way, and also allows me to directly give back to you guys. I do give updates relatively regularly. So if joining me on the Patreon is something that you're interested in, you can do so starting for just $1. There are tiers in which I get to spend an hour with you one-on-one. It could be either on Discord or in VRChat. Whichever one you'd want, that's what we do. And I also do voice recordings also. There's the head pet tier, which is $1, the nuzzle tier, which is $5, the huggle tier, which is $10, the snunkle tier, which is for $20, and the ulu tier, which is for $30. So honestly, I didn't want to spend too much time on this video. You know, I'm just kind of here, just being comfortable, whatever, but I just wanted to thank everyone who has already been a part of the Patreon up to this point. I truly want to give you my thanks for supporting me and allowing me to do what I do and, you know, live in this nice cozy room, largely free of most noise, and just be able to create things that I really, really enjoy creating. And so I'm so grateful to everyone who has been a part of my Patreon up to this point, and I hope that anyone who is interested in more tangibly supporting me, this is a great way to do it. I'm looking to revamp Distortio, or DTX for short, and I'm also looking to do a little bit of other content. So I really am looking forward to the future. I'm so excited about what we're doing, and I look forward to what we can create together. See you next time. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump into things. So once again, I have with me tonight none other than Terkoiz. And how you doing tonight?
I'm very nervous, of course, for two different reasons. Played a techno IRL set. I mean, that's gone. We did that, and that's like totally fine. That was actually fun as fuck.
Nice.
I'm also nervous about this podcast because it's like my first time actually being on one. And I'm glad it's like with you.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but overall, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling good.
Cool. I am glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Awesome. Yeah. Don't be nervous. Like I said before, it's all just chill. It's very, very chill. I promise. You got nothing to fear, my guy. Nothing to fear. Nothing at all. All right. So, just to kind of kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Can you share, who is Terkoiz, and what makes you who you are? Like, what are your likes, your dislikes? Just a basic introduction for people who don't know who you are. That'd be really, really cool for us to hear about.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Terkoiz. I make music. I'm 22 years old, turning 23 next month. Yeah, on August, baby.
Hell yeah.
I make music, DJ. I make a lot of different genres. I don't know. I'm just here to have a good time. What else? I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's who I am. Terkoiz is basically me. All the music that you basically hear that is released by me is always like from the heart and stuff. And, I'm kind of glad to do that. Like, it's another way to get me out.
It's like you're sharing bits and pieces of yourself with the world through your music.
Yes.
So, you said, like, in your Spotify description, you say that you're just a guy in a I guess it was a guy in a fractured world. I think that's what it said.
It was a guy in a cracked world.
In a cracked world, okay. Yeah.
So that means, like, okay, so it's kind of like when I was writing that down, it's like everything was kind of like tumbling down in a way, but like the world isn't perfect, It's always like crumbled in some sort of way. So I feel like I'm not the only one that's living in a cracked world, but you kind of are, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's perfect, of course.
Yeah, there are imperfections everywhere, and there's actually beauty to be found in those imperfections, actually. So it's about noting them, and exploiting them for the beauty that's found inside of them. Even though things aren't perfect, things aren't always good, but there's always beauty to be found, even in the imperfect. So I think that's another way to kind of think about it. But I'm sure you had it like the perspective, like, life may not be great at right now, but through time and effort, maybe I can put the pieces together.
It does get better.
It does get better, yeah. Cool. Nice. But to kind of kick things off, to kind of start things off with our conversation, I'd like to hear really just about let's start off with VRChat. We usually start off with VRChat on my podcast because I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. People understand. That's when we're doing this podcast on. So, can you tell us a little bit about what got you into VRChat in the first place, and why you're still here at the end of it?
Ooh, okay. So I started VRChat in 2018. I was watching the reason why I found out about it was like a video. It was like some dumb shit happened. I was like, hold on, this kind of looks fun. And if it was free, I was gonna try it out. But I found out it was free, so I downloaded it. And my first avatar was to go with the alien because I loved aliens and shit. It's kind of cool. Even though like people be like, oh, they're not real or they're fake or whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just on VRChat being dumb and stupid, and then like in 2019 I got into this one game called Werewolf, which was actually fun, and that's how I met like my core friend group back then, like friends that were always like online just ready to have a fun time and shit, I'm still friends with them to this day. It's like really nice to still talk to them and see how they're doing.
Yeah, it's like 4 years ago.
And then
yeah,
ooh,
it's crazy.
It's such a long time. It is very crazy. I'm like really grateful for the people that I met, like even in the beginning as well. Like some of them, they may not be there, but like I'm really glad to meet them all, because it's an experience. It's part of life.
True.
And I think where like in 2020, that's where things started like actually picking up for me. So there was this thing called virtual bass. A guy named Bolt Action was actually like the owner of everything. He pretty much got a bunch of artists that wasn't in VRChat, but also DJ'd on like in the in real life. And I found that pretty cool because I was like, so what if I can like join that? And then like he was like, yeah, sure, I'll invite you. And like he invited me, we sorted things out, and then like I was on the fucking lineup with a lot of popular artists like Barely Alive, it was almost fucking Murata. Ooh. Dr. Ozzy. There was so many. I'm really grateful to be on that lineup. That was the start of pretty much everything with me DJing and like actually like taking music more seriously in VRChat in a way. Because like what's DJing without like the passion for it,
Right.
So yeah, so I did start off with a virtual bass, and that lasted until like I think the end of 2021, I'm pretty sure, because they did like a New Year's thing. I didn't join it. I could have, but I didn't. And then after that, like I started getting like going around more, and like this is when I actually started doing live DJing, because when virtual bass existed, we were like doing pre-recorded sets. All of my sets were like only visuals and like audio and stuff. I love telling stories with visuals. But February on 2021, that was like my first IRL, well not IRL, but like live set in a way, with this place called Rage House. Rage House was like one of the few like first clubs that existed in VRChat that are like doing like live shit or whatever. I'm really grateful to meet them as well. The whole venue's cool. But they don't do any events anymore, and it sucks, but I hope they come back. But that was like the start of me actually becoming like an actual DJ, because I was building up the confidence, and like fucking, oh god, 2021 was eventful. I think my highlight of that year was me playing Sanctum, and it was like, it's a very beautiful club. It's actually like, it's a reactor in the middle, and like all the lights and the visuals are like actually in your reactor, and I felt like that was cool. It was like one of those venues that are like, mind-blowing. And I was glad to play there, and that's when like things kind of like going even more higher, because I didn't expect to play a place like that. It's actually like one of my favorite places to play at. And in 2022, still doing my thing. I got booked a lot more. I did a lot of different things, experimented like in different ways with music and stuff. Like that's how like I'm a multi-genre person, I usually only did dubstep at like the beginning of everything, and then like I kind of just branched off to different genres, and that's where like I fell in love with a bunch of genres that I now love. Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. Now like I'm still playing sets. I occasionally play like random sets. I recently started doing lo-fi house as well, and I plan to do more of that as well. Lo-fi house is such a good vibe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how like my whole VRChat life kind of like started, and that's the reason why I'm still here is the people. People is the main important thing of like shit like this, like communities. Without a community, DJing would just kind of be like, be lame, because like when you're DJing, you enjoy other people's reactions. Like they're like hype as fuck, or if they got them like if they're crying or whatever, it's still like it's a reaction, and I kind of like that as well, so that's kind of why that I'm like still doing shit in here. It's really fun, and plus it gives me more time to practice. Like if I just want to fucking play a set, just go anywhere, pop up, or just do like a solo set and put it on Twitch live and just fuck around,
Yeah. So it seems like a lot of everything that kind of came together for you and VRChat was really heavily based around music. And I believe you said you're turning 23. Was that 23 this year?
23 next month. Yeah.
So if I'm doing my math correctly, you got into VRChat in 2018. 2018. So you were 18 at the time, like super like relatively young, and it seems like music, it seems like you were already doing things with music, because it seemed like you were in VRChat for like a year, you met people, and then those people, I guess you end up meeting other groups of people that allowed you to play like your first set, and then things just kind of snowballed from there. But I want to like talk directly to you about your music and everything, and I obviously want to stay on VRChat, but like how were you like, so how deep in music were you before you got involved in VRChat?
Really deep. Okay, so I guess we'll start from the beginning. I started at 12 years old, basically. I was just fucking around in this DAW. I forgot what it was. Cubase. It was Cubase. Cubase was one of my first DAWs. The other one was Cakewalk. That one was like really old as fuck, but I still got the job done with it. I was like able to make melodies and all that shit. It's pretty cool. And then like I think maybe at like 15 I actually started taking it serious, where therefore like I'm hopping on labels, submitting my music more to a lot of people, because I felt like, you know, music is really good. It connects with me on a whole different level. I should keep going with it, and I've been at it since like ever since. Damn, what else I was about to say? We'll just forget about that part.
Okay, yeah. So I suppose like what made your experience in like producing music or like performing, like DJing in VRChat, like what is particularly special? Like you said, the people are what make VRChat so great and so wonderful. I guess what was your first set in VRChat like? What was that like for you?
It was, so that was virtual base. My first set happened in virtual base. There was over 500 people watching the Twitch stream, and
your
also,
Twitch?
Like, not my Twitch. It was the virtual base Twitch.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if you guys like type in virtual base, you'll find it somewhere in Twitch. It'll pop up. But yeah, that was my first set. That was wild. That was bazonkers. Yeah. Trying to think. Still thinking. Actually, yeah, let's move on from that question.
Okay. So, like, did anything memorable happen? Okay, like, did it feel natural to you? Because it seems to me, it seems like your experience with DJing in VRChat, it seemed like there was like no, like, with your experience in music and with various DAWs and such, it seemed like your transition from creating music in Cubase and other platforms, it seemed like your transition to VRChat was seamless. Like there was no difficulty. Like was there any difficulty for you starting to DJ in VRChat? Because it seems pretty complicated from what I've heard from Red. When I interviewed Red, it seemed really complicated to get started to put music out in VRChat. So can you tell us a little bit about that and why it seems so easy? It seems like.
So it's sometimes easy, but like at the start, like just complete start, it's kind of hard because you gotta get the equipment for it, you gotta get the songs for it. That was like, I guess getting the equipment was the hard part, because things were like kind of like very fucking high when it came to like DJing, like all the equipment and stuff. My first DJ controller was a DDJ SB3. It was a 2-deck controller. I ran virtual DJ as like the first like software, and then like I had to switch to Rekordbox because I got a new controller, and it was a DJI FLX6, which is the current controller that I have, which is now dying, unfortunately. But going from just creating music to DJing, it was like kind of rough because I never really thought about like, you know, playing out music. I was just only thinking about making music. But then like giving it like a couple of tries and like actually learning of how other people like DJ, because like if you learn off of other people, it expands your like own experience with DJing as well. So going from producing to DJing, it was fine a little bit. And then like when I actually had to like make like a length, like an hour or 30-minute length, that's where like things were kind of like hard, because I love to keep going, you know. So in virtual base they gave me like a 30-minute like deadline. I was like, okay, how do I fit this many tracks in 30 minutes? And that's where like planning sets are also kind of hard, because usually like when I'm like now I'm like just winging shit out, but back then planning sets were hard because you have to match the vibe, you have to get pretty much every transition seamless with like no problem or anything. You got to make it sound good and hope for the best, basically. So it was kind of rocky for me to just start DJing, to understand the whole concept of like DJing and stuff, like planning sets. That was like the hard part for me. But yeah, everything's like, in a way now it's still hard because I haven't really played a plan set in such a long time. I'm actually working on a plan set still, but I'm kind of just stuck at a certain point. Because I'm trying to get visuals with it too.
Yeah, that's really wild that you're saying that like you haven't done a planned set in a long time, which means all the other sets you've done have just been off the cuff.
Yeah, I mean most of my sets lately have been like just me winging it. Like I'll probably play like or pick maybe 2 tracks to start off with, and then everything else is just me winging it, you know? I'm usually feeling the music than anything. So if I feel like, oh, I should play this track next, and then I play it, it's like, good, bad, feels good. Keep going.
So I definitely want to talk more about the like actually like music planning, you know, how your brain works in regards to like doing your sets. So yeah, I want to get into that nitty gritty stuff later on, but I want to bring it back to VRChat. Like this is all super interesting, and I'm hoping that I can get to everything. I want to get to everything. So so let's go back to VRChat with just like how. I guess when you're not DJing in VRChat, what are you doing?
Oh, chilling. Literally chilling. I mean, I either go talk to people at World Hop, I hang out with friends. I'm not really like that much of a drinker as I like used to be. Like I used to drink like a lot at one point, but then I stopped, and things have still been like fine. I usually like smoke occasionally, like possibly.
Yeah.
But I'm usually just either with friends or watching a movie or just like dancing, and like I don't usually like, you know, dance like pole dancing or anything like that, like anything extreme. Just like, you know, be doing a little vibey dance type thing in clubs and stuff. Just overall enjoying the vibe of what VRChat has to offer, especially in the club scene.
So you're mainly in the club scene. You're mainly looking for clubs to dance at.
Just to chill out and vibe and talk to people, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess with that in mind, like if you're usually just kind of vibing with people and you know, you're going to public places, why are you so nervous about being on the podcast?
Because it's an all about me thing, and I don't like to like I'm not really used to talking about myself, because I like to know shit about others as well. Like, I don't know. I never really been a thing that's just a thing about me. That's why I'm kind of like, you know, nervous about it.
You don't want to be the focus of attention.
In a way, yes.
You realize what you mean by saying that, right? You realize what you're saying by saying that, right, Mr. IRL DJ?
Okay.
Like you realize that you're saying you don't want to be the center of attention, but you're the center of attention like half of your time. So like, what's the deal?
Well, okay, so it's just I feel like personally I don't really have much to talk about myself, because there's not really that many events that are happening other than just me working on music and just staying in tune with like whatever. Like I play games, but there's really nothing else. I do go outside.
You
but
do
not
touch
often.
grass.
I do touch grass.
Okay.
I touch grass almost every day.
Okay. Good on you.
But that's either like just chilling out, like going out to the park or whatever, or just like going on errands. Like it's just like basic adult stuff, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just the idea of like an entire event being all about you,
Yeah.
where people are watching you all the time.
They're staring at me just constantly.
I still find that it's so ironic that you're just like, oh, people listening to what I have to say. Oh, but I guess it's different because you're talking about yourself. You're not expressing
now.
yourself. You're talking about yourself, which is, I guess, a little bit
Yes.
different in terms of like communicating with people when you're usually doing it through music.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is exactly it, honestly, because I don't really talk during my sets either.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so what do you like about VRChat, and one thing that you like about VRChat, one thing that you dislike about VRChat, one thing that you'd like to see differently, like changed or improved on in VRChat, because you've been on the platform for quite a long time, for quite a while. What was it, like 5 years now? So you've seen the platform evolve. So I guess over your time of being on this platform, what do you like about where it's going, and what do you think that about thing that you don't like about where it's going?
Okay, so what I do like about VRChat, number one, the people. The people are literally the number one thing that I love about this game, because it's literally for social. This game is for socializing purposes, right? You meet all kinds of different people. Like meet mean people, good people, just like it's just different kinds, you know. And then the amount of things you can do in VRChat, like play games with your friends, or like watch a whole like YouTube video with friends. It's kind of crazy. And like movies as well. Movies are kind of like, I didn't expect for like a whole movie thing to be in VRChat when
Yeah.
like I first started out, until like it actually happened. I was like, oh my god, you can actually just watch movies and chill with your friends. It's kind of cool, you know. And like the whole clubbing aspect of things as well in VRChat, like it's a big ass community of people that loves music, and I'm glad to see like everyone is like there's a new person every fucking day for every hour, you know. That's cool. The amount of things that you can create in VRChat, like there's this one world that is a whole sequencer / synthesizer. I was playing with that for quite some time, and I really thought that was cool because I never really got a chance to play with a synthesizer and sequencer like ever in real life, other than like just my DAW, of course. But it was actually nice to, you know, manually twist the knobs and shit, and I find that really cool. There's a lot of other things that are like pretty fucking cool about this game that I cannot like make it come to mind. But the fact that like me and you right now are sitting like in full body tracking, I find that very fucking amazing. I think that's like one of the top things about VRChat, or just VR in general. Like your whole body is in tune with like your virtual body, and then like you're talking to somebody that is like kind of the same way as you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. So what about something that you think could be improved on, or something that you don't care for with regards to VRChat?
Sometimes I won't even lie, the drama of like pretty much VRChat in general. There's always going to be drama, but it's the fact that it's like a repeating cycle.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cycle that can't be broken or anything. It can be broken if people actually like do the right things to break the cycle of drama, you know? Like just talk it out. But not a lot of people likes, you know, talking it out because they're afraid for like either confrontation, or things could just go even way south than it usually was. Or it could be just like they don't think that it's the same thing that they were thinking about that, that situation. So the drama aspect of things, I feel like, kind of does need to change, but it's slowly going down, so it's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's pretty much it, honestly.
Okay, so it's interesting to me that you're the thing that you like most about, the VRChat are the people, and then the thing that you don't like are the people. Like, cause like basically it's
there are some people.
Yeah. But I mean, like, basically, like, the idea of you've. I guess your perspective on VRChat as a whole is not really focused on like how it actually functions, but more so it's solely on the social aspect of VRChat. So, like, whenever you get people together, if you get people together in one place, or you get communities together, or people like form communities, because we naturally do as humans, drama is bound to happen. Like, you can't really get away from drama. Especially when you're dealing with people of all different walks of life, all different personalities, all different, personal issues, traumas, blah, blah, blah. Like, you get people together, there's gonna be drama. And, like, that's unfortunately not something that can be fixed right off the bat, which is unfortunate, but I definitely get what you're saying. Like, the drama aspect of people, just, not being willing to talk things out. I think that can be pretty rough. And, but I mean, that's life, right? Like,
that is life.
Yeah, like, we choose to be around people. We are social creatures. Humans are social creatures. So by proxy, we are inclined to want to connect with people. And by proxy, there will be people that we like and people that we don't like. And yet, we just kind of we just have to we have to deal with these people sometimes, So drama is just kind of inevitable, which kind of sucks. It really does kind of suck. I do wish people could talk things out and be mature.
That's my main thing.
Yeah, but again, not everybody on VRChat is mature. That's another thing. We like there's a large swath of young people on this platform, which is not the greatest thing.
That's also.
It's not the greatest thing. Yeah.
I wish they would just kind of work on that side as well, because personally, I feel like this game should be for people that are 16 and up, because there are a lot of fucking different things. But 18 plus, it's understandable. If they just make it 18 plus completely, it's totally understandable. There are a lot of adult themed things out there, but I feel 16 is probably for the best, because you're at that age, you're kind of understanding what things are even before you're 18.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And but I would just to play devil's advocate, the reason why VRChat has grown the way that it has is because it's free and because anyone can use it. That's why, at the end of the day, VRChat is able to, think it from a business perspective. I know I'm getting to the nitty gritty here, because I think about these things, but VRChat basically is being funded from what it seems like for the time being, it's being largely funded by investors. So VRChat can basically, the people in executive positions will be able to say, hey, we have this many users, we have this many active users per month, and if you give us this amount of money, we can produce this much content or this much technology that will help us to reach this goal of monthly active users by this point. So it's all kind of goal setting and finagling with investors. But we're only able to really do that, and have been able to see the improvements that we've been able to benefit from VRChat, mainly because of how kids are able to be on this platform, contribute to, padding that number of active users, since they can just get on here and do whatever they want. But again, that's just me playing devil's advocate, thinking from a more business perspective, but I completely 100% agree. There really should be some manner of delineation between age groups on this platform, because of the many things that can take place on this platform. Yeah.
I agree. That last one. Yeah, I agree with that one so much. I met a 9-year-old on VRChat once, and it was like weird as fuck.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, come on, you sound very, very young. How old are you? Like 9 years old. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing here?
Get out of here. Get off my lawn.
This is not for you. I did tell the kid that this game is definitely not for you at the moment. But when you grow older, you can hop back on this game. I'm pretty sure he did not listen to me.
Of course, yeah. You tell a kid not to do something, they just want to do it more.
Exactly, they just do it anyways.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, it's a real thing, and like I personally, like I have not gone into a public world in like the longest time. Actually, correction. Well, I guess no, I haven't gone into a public world in a very long time. When I first got into VRChat, I did. But, you know, as I met more people and found my place in various groups and such, I decided to not really engage in public worlds that much anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids on this platform.
A lot.
Yeah, it's
even with VR. That's the wild thing to me. That like their mom bought VR for them to like do shit in VRChat.
But that's the thing.
Wild.
Parents don't even know. Like
they don't.
They
really
don't have a clue.
That's why like I encourage like a lot of like people to look up before you like either buy or do something, so like you can know the dangers of like things. Like for example, like alcohol can make you have a fun time but also be bad for your body.
Yes.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. That's kind of like where I'm referencing off.
Yeah, okay. Knowing what you're exposing to yourself, or in this case, your child. You know, and knowing as much as you can about those sorts of things, for sure. Yeah, very, very important. But unfortunately, very, very lacking in this day and age. You know, it's just technology is just expanding and improving and all that. It's evolving at a very, very fast rate. And you know, it's difficult for parents to keep up with these things. Meanwhile, all the kids are learning all these things about like how to utilize these platforms. Like you were fucking 12 years old and you were already using like Cubase and shit. Like I've been around for a long time, but like the thing is, like, you were that young and you figured out how to use that kind of program. So like these kids are growing up with screens on their faces or in their hands. So them being able to connect the dots is so much easier than it was for like back in the day, and parents just aren't keeping up with the Joneses, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree on that, honestly.
Yeah. So where would you like to see VR go? Because I did notice that you called VRChat a game, which is interesting. Because I personally don't call it a game. I call it a platform. But technically speaking, it is a game. So your mindset about VRChat is still very much geared toward it being a game. I guess with it being such a large social aspect of your life and many other people's lives, I guess what about it still makes it a game to you rather than like a platform or like I guess you can't really call it a world, but like do you consider these experiences in VRChat like a game? Like why do you consider it that way? Yeah.
Okay, so for human interactions, that's where like the reality parts kick in, you know, like that's where like I kind of just don't like recently I've really been thinking about that as well. As like this game is not really becoming a game anymore. Like sure, it's a social platform, but these are real people that you're talking to every single day, and it's like it's slowly becoming parts of your reality because you're interacting with like real people and shit, you know. But that's why it's called virtual reality, because you're not actually there like in front of them like in real life. What makes it a game is, well, of course, the gaming aspect, and to be honest, VRChat is probably the most expensive game that you'll ever like either invest in.
Are you referencing that meme that's been going around recently? Yeah,
yes.
I retweeted that. I retweeted that too. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. But yeah. It's
very true. I spent so much on this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so go on about it, like what you were saying about like just like the most expensive game, but like the social aspect and everything that you were saying. Like, what else do you have to say about that?
I think the social aspect just like makes it like not that much of a game anymore, and I think that's totally fine. You know, it's like you're meeting a bunch of people. It's not like you're going to hop on just to like actually play games. You can either just chill out, watch movies, listen to music, or you can play games, because that's where the game part comes in, because it's a game within a game. So, I mean, that's kind of like my opinion on it.
Yeah, and it's really only due to the creativity of many other people who have created these worlds that are ultimately games in their own right. And like I think that's really why it's hard for me to like consider VRChat like a game, because people have the ingenuity to create games on this platform. So if you can play games, like it's like a game within a game. But is it really? I would say it's become a social platform with social games that can be played. You know?
Agreed. Yeah. Like, once again, you're talking to like a lot of people every day. And that's like, for example, people that means a lot to you, like your best friends, they will make your day. A game sometimes doesn't make your day, and that's why I think like the reality part kind of kicks in the VRChat shit. And when somebody makes your day, it means a lot, you know. So that's why I feel like, you know, maybe VRChat isn't really like that much of a game, because you're still being social with somebody and you're like, you know, talking to that one person. But then again, it's still a game in a way, because we're in a virtual environment, you know. It's not real. But people that, you know, are in the game are real. Like, nobody's a fucking bot, unless you actually have like a bot that invites people, then that's a bot. But everyone that is in this game or has participated in this game are real, like, are actually human souls.
True.
And that's why I like this game a lot.
Have you ever played an MMO before?
I play like maybe like, does Onigiri count?
What?
Onigiri? It's like, it has like anime girl on the cover. She was pink hair. I don't remember much from that game, but like I think that's like pretty much the only MMO I played for real.
Okay.
That was fun. But I did talk to like a couple of people in there as well. I met like some people. We actually partied up and actually had a lot of fun and shit. But that's pretty much like the only one that I played.
Okay. Well, the reason why I asked that kind of out of left field question is because of, you know, how people who've played MMORPGs, usually the MMORPGs, like they build these connections with people. They play these games. It's actually like a game that they're playing, but they end up meeting people along the way. Usually in an MMORPG, you're partying up with people, you come across new people, you maybe wandering around and someone helps you out with something, and you have these experiences with people. You make these connections with people unexpectedly while engaging with a game. Like, you're playing a game for a certain purpose, but then there are other people playing that game along with you, and maybe somehow, some way, you connect with them and you log on, you talk to those people, you maybe go, you know, maybe you'll go, like, you just sit like in a bar somewhere, or like you go on an adventure, you go on a dungeon or something, and you hang out with these people. So I guess, you know, like, despite my perspective of VRChat being something of a social platform, if you think of it in terms of a MMO, and you think of VRChat in an MMO context, it really is kind of like a game. It still kind of maintains that gamified aspect of which you're logging into a game, and then you're interacting with people to hang out with them. But you may be going in for a certain purpose. Usually you're going in for a certain purpose, not always to be social. But VRChat has a way of surprising you. It surprises you with the experiences and the people that you may end up meeting when you're going in for, for your own personal adventure and the people you may meet in the process. So I guess it is kind of a game. This is just kind of coming to me on the fly. This kind of this thought experiment of is VRChat actually a game type of thing. That'd be kind of a cool thing to talk about more, actually. But yeah, but yeah, this is how my brain works. But I like. That's
totally fine.
Yeah, but I think your point about it being a game still is valid. I think it's still very much valid. What do you think about you know about Sword Art Online, right?
Yes. Okay. I honestly, part of me wish that the headset part was real in a way, but at the same time, oh my god, the idea of just being trapped in a virtual game with actually you cannot get out. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
So you have things to take care of IRL and shit. I'm pretty sure half of us or most of us have shit to do IRL, or half of us just fucking chilling, and that's totally fine. We have stuff to do, and then not actually being able to do it because you're just stuck in virtual reality. Literally you cannot get out. That's terrifying to me. Because who's gonna feed you? You can't chew on your own, you can't swallow. Well, you can chew on your own, but you just can't swallow
right
without,
yeah it would be very problematic for one's physical form. Since you won't be able to have nourishment nor go to the bathroom. So it does pose very real issues when you think of the SAO paradox of being literally trapped in a virtual world. But would you be interested in having a full dive experience with being able to engage your entire senses with a virtual piece of hardware? Would that be interesting to you?
It definitely would, but I would be kind of nervous because, for example, if you do full dive in this game, anything could fucking happen. Some guy could literally just get into an avatar that has a gun, and if you get shot, you feel that shit. That's the scary part about it, It's you feeling everything that you actually happen to have in contact with you, in a way, if you get pushed, I'm pretty sure you would feel that inside of the game, but also in real life as well, but you're not actually moving your body IRL. So it's in a way it's interesting, but I'm still trying to understand the concept even more, because there's more things to go into full dive, definitely.
I agree. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of benefits to having those sorts of experiences, especially for people who may be handicapped in some shape or form, or disabled in some way, to be able to walk and run and pick things up. And I think it overall as a technology can be very, very scary, but also there's also that aspect of just being able to use parts of your body that you may not be able to normally use. Really,
I think that's the cool aspect of full dive and shit. Because for you literally decided for disabled people, it would be a fucking amazing thing for them to be able to move in all with both legs, both arms, pretty much every fucking limb that you're needing in your body. It would mean probably the world to them if that actually became a real thing,
Yeah.
So I think full dive is very fucking cool for that reason as well. Phantom Sense is another thing as well. For example, I have Phantom Sense.
Oh, you do?
A lot of people in VRChat. Yeah, I do. Literally, pretty much everywhere. I'm gonna be real.
Wow. Okay.
So it's basically Phantom Sense right now, but 10 times worse in full dive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
because you don't have to think about it.
It's worse in a good way. You don't have to think about it, or you don't. I really have to see it. You can just feel it literally, and I feel that's kind of fucking cool. Just without a mirror, knowing that someone is touching you, actually poking you in the back or whatever. That's kind of cool.
Agreed.
So I would definitely give Godiva a try. It's just like a very, very nervous thing to do, you know, because you got all the dangers that come with it.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's been it's been approved, it's been tested.
Definitely.
You know, tested like up, down, left, and right for sure. Yeah. Like, have you like I like to ask these questions of my guests because, like, you know, again, like we live in a very interesting timeline. Like I don't know, like I think a lot of people forget that and don't really acknowledge the sheer coincidence that we're living in this period of time, especially someone as young as yourself. Like, I think people take that for granted and don't really like understand like the implications because they've just been living with this kind of technology their entire lives. But this is like the most interesting time we've ever been living in. So I like to ask people these questions just to kind of understand where their mind is, to see what if they've been thinking about these sorts of things. Like how much respect and awe do they have for, you know, being able to put on a headset and be able to engage in a virtual setting and just like have fun and engage with people that you've probably never met in person. It's really fascinating, and I like to just ask people these kind of philosophical, technological questions because, you know, again, we're using this technology. I think it's important to kind of understand, you know, the implications and where things are going technologically with said technology, you know?
Definitely.
So this will be my last technological question related to VR. Have you heard of Neurolink?
Neurolink. I have, but I haven't really looked into it.
Okay. So Neuralink is it's another company created by Elon Musk. You know, say what you will about the guy, he's pretty fucking smart and knows how to spend his money. But it's another company made by Elon Musk, basically with the intention of creating a microchip, you know, a la Ghost in the Shell style, in which people will be able to implant a chip into their brain, which will enable them to activate parts of their body. Like the initial kind of like testing grounds of this technology is to give people access to motor skills, and parts of their body that they have lost connection to. I believe he's mainly focusing on giving people their sight back and helping people who have been paralyzed in some shape or form. I believe those are like the two major aspects that they're looking to do with this technology. So like, I mean, just from that kind of basic thought idea, you can actually kind of like evolve into like, well, maybe we could use those microchips to have augmented reality, where we will no longer need headsets. We can just have the microchip and be able to put in some sort of a glasses or something. The microchip will read the glasses and we can just have that experience like right on the fly in public without having to worry about anything, where people are just constantly engaged with either contacts or these glasses over their eyes, and they look like regular like glasses like what you're wearing, where your Abby is wearing. It would just look like that, but we'd have access to the internet just through this microchip, which, you know, will obviously cause, you know, further enhancements, you know, the idea of cyborgs, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, I guess, you know, you keep thinking, the thoughts just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. So what do you think about it in that regard?
I think that's really fucking cool, legitimately. It helped other people, like, for example, like, with eyesight and shit, so good. That would probably help me, because I am nearsighted. I wish I can see, you know, fucking far.
Same. Also nearsighted.
Oh shit.
Hell yeah. True. Yep. My eyes are shit. I have astigmatism. It's bad.
It's bad. I kind of wish that like sometimes I didn't wear like glasses. Like for example, right now I'm wearing glasses in VR. I know there's like prescription lenses that you can get, but I'm just like kind of like lazy to even buy them because I got things to spend money on that's like kind of important.
Right.
But yeah, with the whole like Neuralink shit actually making your eyesight better, and what if it gives you like a whole zoom in function? That would be actually crazy as fuck. especially like if you can take like cameras as like, you know, like for example, like you don't even have your phone, and if you need to take a picture, you can just either like double blink like quick as fuck and it'll actually take a picture.
Yeah.
Like that would be, and it's just like in your like memory the whole time. So I think that's kind of cool. The whole Neurolink thing is really fucking cool. That sounds, wow. We live in a timeline where shit like that is being built.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time. It also takes a lot of brains. It's just evolution, I guess, and I think that's fucking cool. I'm really happy that we still live in a timeline where things are just gradually getting either better or in some ways sometimes worse, but still overall better because it's new things every single day.
Yeah, you gotta fail to make progress.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life. That's legitimately just life.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially like with creating things, like for example, like me, I have those type of like issues sometimes. If I like get stuck, I'll just be like, damn. But then eventually you work over it, you know. So that's why it's said it's kind of life. Basically life.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you and your music. So I know this is mainly you. Like this is what people I know have been waiting for. You know, I've kind of peppered you up with my questions, but people and I really want to know like how like where did everything start? Let's start at the very beginning because that's a very good place to start. So basically, let's talk about like what. Like you said, you started producing music at 12, but like what actually kind of led up to that? Like what is like the origin story of Terkoiz?
Origin story, 2010. My uncle actually introduced me into jungle, and like.
And how old were you?
Obsessed with jungle. I was 10 years old.
Okay.
2010. I was basically born in 2000, so like basically like by every year it's my age, you know.
Yeah, that's convenient. You'll never forget.
Yeah. Exactly. That's kind of why I like being a 2000 baby, you know.
Yeah.
Because like every year it's like it's your age is that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started in 2010. My uncle showed me jungle for the first time, and I was just like, because this is when I didn't even have like a phone or a laptop. It was just either like maybe an Xbox, but that's pretty much it other than TV. That's where music really started, like I guess kicked in my life hardcore, because I would not stop listening to my uncle's stuff because jungle was one of my favorite things. It's still one of my favorite things, and like I actually made my first jungle song like last year. Really nice. It's called Tilt, by the way. I should go listen.
Yeah.
and then like ever since then I've been wanting to like try to make some type of like, you know, try to make my own thing. And I got my first drum kit when I was like 11. I got it for Christmas. It was like a little like an actual like electronic drum kit. It didn't last long. It broke like maybe 2 months.
Were you being rough with it or something?
Like when
little too excited?
a little too excited, because like that's when I was like starting to learn how to like do drums and stuff. Like I used to like play drums like with friends and shit in band. And in 2012 my aunt got me a laptop, and then she gave me like, you know, Cakewalk. Cakewalk was the first very thing that I like used as for like making music and stuff. It had all the stuff that I needed. And then like once I found out like about the whole drum thing, I started making drums completely, like just sometimes from scratch, because everything is in a way a wave, like a sine wave. It's either a sine wave, triangle wave. It's a sound, you know.
Yeah.
You just start making stuff from scratch. I even made my like first song, but it was like maybe like a minute, but it was something, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, hold on, I just kind of finished a thing that sounds finished. I should keep doing it more, you know? So I still like made jungle, but then I slowly started getting into like dubstep more, because on YouTube, like of course, like as children, we browse YouTube just to find something like, you know, to watch and shit.
Mhm.
But I came across like this one thing called the Sound of Dubstep. It's like a very old like dubstep compilation, but it's an actual album. I never bought the album, but like they had a mega mix of like songs that were actually part of the album, and I would not stop listening to that. And then I typed in the word dubstep, boom, I'm completely exposed to dubstep. Like
Yeah.
I would not stop listening to it. Like every day, every night, everything would just be like dubstep.
And how
stuff.
old are you at this point?
And I was 12 when this happened.
Okay. Very impressionable age.
I gotta stole my mom's phone for it. Yeah.
You do what you gotta.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad I did, because I would not be this person that I am if I like kind of just didn't steal my mom's phone and expose myself to dubstep. I would probably like be working on like rap or whatever the fuck, you know. Because I used to be one of those kids. I used to like love rap a lot,
Yeah.
especially the ghetto rap as well. But
Mhm.
I used to love that. I still do. There's like some songs that I do like nowadays that are like, you know, popping up from old shit, but I mainly like was into dubstep more than anything, because like without the phone, dubstep, or rap, but with the phone, dubstep. So in 2014 is when I downloaded Skype for the first time, because I was like, you can talk to people and see what it's about. And then I joined, like, I met like a bunch of fucking random people. It was like overall good, and I guess really good actually, because I would have not like tried to take music seriously in 2015 if somebody didn't like, you know, tell me like I should do this and that. And then they taught me a little bit more about like the software that I used, like Cakewalk. And then I eventually moved on to FL somewhere in 2014, which is FL Studio. It's the DAW that I use now. Then they taught me a lot, and then like I eventually started making like full songs and stuff. So I released my first EP in 2015, which is called The Fallen. Actually, no, it's just called Fallen EP. I don't know, like it was just a random ass fucking name.
Aren't most titles?
The name didn't really like.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Kidding.
that's just really, like, I feel like you're wrong. Or actually, no, you're right. You're actually right. You're right. Because most of my songs that are currently released right now, they're random names. The only reason, like for example, Nostalgia, I was like, what feeling does this give me? And it gives me a nostalgia feeling because the
PS2
whole
sound.
core of the song.
It's all PS2.
Exactly.
I know.
It's just reverb.
Yeah, I the first time I heard you fucking do that shit, the first time I heard that was on when you did that set, that set, that I'm like, dude, you fucking, my soul has been cleansed. That's the first time I heard that song. And I immediately knew it was fucking it was a PS2, what is it called? Source? Not Source, like it was sourced from that. But what's it like?
Just a startup sound.
Yeah, it's just a startup sound, just like looped. And I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. But it's so good.
Well. It's a really good atmosphere thing.
Yeah. But yeah, nostalgia is just like, of course it's nostalgia because it's from days past. Makes sense.
I love the PS2 days. I love Nero.
Yeah, same.
I was talking about the Fallen EP.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, random names. Fallen EP. I don't know why. I think I randomly fell at one point, like in real life. I was like, hold on, that sounds like a banger idea for a song title.
Wow.
I don't know why my like 15-year-old self thought of that, but
I fell over once. I'll never forget it.
Fallen EP. Kind of funny now that I think about it. Like as a child, I wasn't really like thinking like, you know, creatively when it came to titles. It was just either basic things, you know. But yeah, Fallen EP was like my first EP that ever got released in 2015. And then that's where I started like taking music seriously, you know. I started releasing on this one label called Ethereal Network. They're no longer like actually an active thing. I heard that they were gonna come back, but I don't see them like actually like trying to come back anymore. So it's just
Sad.
it's
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
Sad, but I met so many people off of it, and I'm really grateful to actually meet them. Cause like I'm still actually talking to like maybe half of that label.
Oh,
Now?
really?
Yeah, cause actually like maybe 4 of the people from the label, they actually live in my other state that I used to live in, which is Virginia. Virginia, oh my god, I miss Virginia. Virginia was like my favorite place to stay at because the scenery around it was nice. I could go to the beach like with no questions asked. Like I can just take my bike and go, and then if I just want to chill at the beach, boom, I'm just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're currently in Virginia, and we might be actually planning something like IRL thing.
Oh.
So like get together and then like actually do like a real show, you know, like maybe a back to back, or we're just all doing solo sets, you know.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that label to even exist. The guy that made the label still exists as well. Like he's still like pretty active in the music community, which is actually really nice to see. Because at first he was like a shy bean, but now he's like really expressive, and it's really fucking cool to see somebody grow like that, you know, like as a person. So yeah. So yeah, I was part of that label, and I eventually joined other labels and took music more seriously. There were even times where, like, in high school, the only thing that I would probably do was work on music on my free time. Because, like, there are times where, like, you know, you get free time in school. Like, you're finished with your work, you can do whatever the fuck you want sometimes. Like, I was one of those kids that could bring their laptop and shit and, like, play games. But I ended up just making music. And, like, the teacher understood because, like, it's another way of being productive, you know? Eventually I downloaded FL on the school computer and I was just producing like crazy. I think that was like the time where I was just like getting like to know myself in a musical way, because I was making music at like home and stuff, still am, but at school definitely was like, I guess in a way helpful. It's kind of, the environment's different, you know, like you're used to doing stuff at home, but then like kind of just like doing it like in school kind of just hit different in a way.
Yeah.
And also like me asking other people's feedback in school, like, yo, like what do you think this sounds like, and I give them the headphones and they'll be like, this actually sounds kind of good. They either tell me it's good, but there's this and that you can change, or it's sometimes like, you know, oh, so what if you do this and what if you do that, like, you know, like a little small arrangement or whatever the fuck. Or some people would actually want to try to learn. I have taught someone FL in high school.
Oh.
Not like everything, but like I taught mainly the basics. I taught like maybe actually 3 or 4 people that were in the same class, because this was, the people that I was teaching was in a computer class, and half of the time the teachers were not there. We had no idea why. They were just never there. So we were just like, okay, well, let's just take the time to just, you know, just fuck around. And then like eventually I taught them how to use FL, and they started making music on their own selves. I actually know a friend, me and him still talk IRL. He still makes music till this day, and it's pretty nice to see a friend like that grow, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, well, yeah, the high school part was technically like my high point of like, I guess, making music, because I didn't really get creator block during that time. Or writer's block, if that makes sense.
Yeah, does.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much like, I guess, how like I came to be this person. I love teaching people stuff too as well. I actually plan on holding a class sometime this year. I don't know when.
Okay,
But
cool.
I might do either a class on production or DJing, you know, because I love teaching people sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though I suck at it, but it gets through their brain and be like, oh, so this is how you do this and that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's basically just me.
Awesome. Yeah, and whenever you decide to do it, like I'm hoping that this podcast will even help people to hopefully get started. Like I'm gonna ask you some pretty like hard hitting questions about like how you do what you do.
Go for it.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that for sure. But yeah, so let's actually like well one more question about like your origin. Where did the name Terkoiz come from?
The color. It was always my favorite color.
Oh.
My grandmother gave me like a turquoise pearl, and like I asked, "What is this color?" Because it looks green, but it looks blue at the same time, and she told me it was turquoise. So I don't know why my dumbass really thought, but this is actually like I was like trying to spell turquoise in a different way, like when I had my Xbox 360.
Yeah,
at first,
like every kid.
It was T3. Yes, definitely. So it was my first gamer tag that I actually customized was turquoise, but T3RK01Z.
Yep, because you gotta be cool. You gotta be.
Yeah, you gotta be cool.
Yeah.
Like I was going to be one of those kids that had like XXX at like the beginning.
Oh my god! You're gonna be. Oh my god!
I was a Call of Duty kid.
That was so fucking popular, man. I'm so glad you weren't like that. Holy shit. Oh man.
I was a Call of Duty kid at the time, so that's why like I used to be part of a clan. I actually had my own clan at one point, but I couldn't really maintain it because I was young and shit. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, I used to be a huge Call of Duty nerd, and like I would constantly like always play games as well, but like produce on the side at the time. This is when like I was just like mainly a gamer, but now like I'm a gamer and a music production, like a fucking artist.
Yeah,
it's kind of a nice life. I'm kind of like happy of, in a way, what I'm doing and like where I'm at, but I just hope to grow more.
Yeah, I agree. So
but yeah,
oh yeah, no, go ahead. Like the name.
So
yeah,
the name. So turquoise was the stone that like my grandmother gave me. So I turned that and like tried to twist the name of it. I was like, what if I just like literally write the word down and then like literally like write what it sounds like. So it's like tur, but sometimes people say like tur, like with a U, like a deep U,
like turtle.
But it's just turtle.
Yeah,
it's a good example actually.
I try.
and then the Koiz was just like the same thing, but like I turned it into like a K, then an OIZ at the end, because the Z kind of looked cool. I had a logo at the time where like the Z was just like the tail, and it's just like went under the fucking name. I still think I have that logo somewhere, but yeah, that's how like my name turned out to be turquoise, because I love the color, and it's still my favorite color, along with like a bunch of other colors like black, blue, pretty much like any color.
Nice.
Other than yellow. Yellow is bright as fuck.
Yes, yellow is quite bright, but it can be quite pretty, but it is quite bright. But you know, like I deliberately, you know, I dressed in turquoise because of your name. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A shit ton. I'm gonna be real.
I do my best. But yeah, that's so cool. Like it has like sentimental value, so it's not just a name, and it's actually like it reminds you of like, you know, days long past. It's pretty cool. So what about your Abby?
I still have that stone that she gave me too.
Oh,
My
nice.
Abby. Ooh.
Nice.
So I went through 3 different Abbeys. I was first the alien, and then like I was like some dude with cat ears. I don't know why I had cat ears at the time, but
you know that's like, typical VR chat. Like you know why you had the cat ears. It's just typical VR chat e-boy shit.
Literally typical. Yeah, I was kind of an e-boy. I'm not even gonna lie, but and then like I got this avatar. Now this avatar, I actually like feel like this is me in a way, because I don't know. It feels like this is me. It looks like something that I kind of just like want it to be, you know, like as like a fucking character, whatever the fuck. But this Abby is just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I actually don't. But it's nice to even have this one compared to the other one that I have.
I mean, I've only seen you in this one. I'm pretty sure I've only seen you in that one. Like, how close does this Abby have any like resemblance to you in real life?
Other than like my skin color, not really. But I just like the style of it, honestly. Like I love tech wear. Tech pants. I like this jacket. It's pretty fucking comfy. I will wear something like this basically in real life. So.
Merch.
And I also liked merch. Ooh. merch. We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah.
We're talking about that later.
Okay.
I have plans.
Nice. Love to hear it. But yeah, I mean, like the fit looks very comfy. It looks very comfy. The look is very sleek, very minimalistic, very Tokyo Ghoul-ish. But you know, it is what it is. You know. It's,
yeah, the black and white.
Yeah. But hey, you know, it still looks good. Like it's a good fit. So I know you mentioned that you were like getting into like you would have gotten into rap if not for drum and bass. So like I'm kind of like this is kind of like I'm trying to figure out how I can approach this question. But like, have you faced any sort of like adversity at all for like, you know, being of a darker skinned persuasion? Like, have you faced any like issues with that, or felt any like discomfort with that in your production, DJing experiences and such, both IRL and in VR, if it applies? I'm curious because again, like, you know, like, a lot of people try to keep themselves anonymous and don't really let on to those things. But I'd like to know if it's, you know, if it's been affected, if it's affected you at all, or it's, you know, yeah.
There were times where like people were just like, you know, saying stuff about like my voice and stuff. Like people say that I sound white. I'm just like, how? Because like I guess when I'm speaking, like when I can hear myself, I personally don't think I sound like that. I just talk proper, you know.
Yeah,
and
you do.
That's why Virginia kind of like, I guess, is kind of a very important thing like for me, because without like if I stayed in like Georgia or whatever, because that was like the last state or before Virginia, that was the state that I was in, I probably would have been like talking a lot differently. But like I hang around with like a couple like, you know, different people. I hanged around with a different type of group, you know, in Virginia, and I kind of in a way adapted their like, I guess how do you adapted their like, speech in a way?
Their speech style, their enunciations.
Yes.
How they pronounced things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. And like people were like, "Oh my God, you're black!" Like,
yeah.
like especially like I still get that shit till this day, like in VR as well, because people will think that I am automatically white because of how I sound, like my voice and stuff.
Which is weird, like in the grand scheme of things. It's weird
it's
that
weird.
like that judgment even occurs. Like there's this like how can you sound a certain like ethnicity? It's weird, but
exactly.
You know. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I get that a lot in VR, like a shit ton. Even if like with this avatar, it's like, oh my God, you're black? Ain't no fucking way. I'm just like, yeah, I'm black. I also get that in real life too. Recently at work, I work in Amazon. I work in a Amazon fulfillment center. It's a cool job, laid back, but boring. Some dude was like, "Wow, you talk very proper." I was like, "Yeah, I mean."
Damn.
Am I not supposed to?
Were you expecting Ebonics, my guy?
Well, it's the thing is, currently I live in Alabama, and a lot of people talk in a Southern accent. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really talk in a Southern accent.
Right.
Somehow, according to a lot of people. But I guess that's the shock factor. It's just like me not talking Southern in a Southern state. And I was just like, huh, okay, well, it's kind of like nice to know. But yeah, I talk proper, and I feel like that's fine, you know. When I first started out in Virginia, it was like kind of like my speech was so bad. Like, I was speaking mumble half of the fucking time, and I was like speaking fast as fuck because the amount of like people that I met in Georgia that sounded the exact same way of how like I used to be, you know.
Oh wow.
So that's why I'm in a way grateful that I moved to Virginia, because speech got better, but
Yes.
it's still, I'm still being mistaken as a different color, but that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I get it a lot, and I sometimes laugh it off because it's kind of funny, you know. It actually is kind of funny, I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay. Cool. I mean, as long as it's like something that you can kind of like laugh about and it's chilled, so it's all right. Like, but yeah, I always like I feel like it's like if I'm really thinking about the guests that I've interviewed, I don't think, as far as I know, I don't know for certain, but I don't think I've interviewed anyone who is just like, who's just black before, who like just identifies as that before. And like, so like I wanted to kind of ask to just kind of get your experience with it, because I think some people don't know what that's like, and like, you know, with someone like yourself who's like very much like you're interacting with people, you're creating music, like it seems like a very kind of like, you don't see many people like doing drum and bass who are, you know, I mean, at least I haven't, who typically are black. They're usually like something else, you know, whatever. But I was just wondering, because like, have you ever, like, I wanted to know if you had any of those experiences because of, you know, just how people generally would like see, like the people you generally see in the scene, you know?
Yeah, I totally understand, because like in like the community that I was in, like when I first like joined that label, it was mainly just like white people and shit. And when they first know that I was black, it was like, whoa, that's very, very, very surprising, because like there's not a lot of people that are like, not a lot of black people that are into EDM like that.
Right.
But it's slowly growing, and I feel like that's kind of like the good thing about it, because it's getting expanded in a way towards like, you know, black people like us. Like, EDM's good. Music is just a global thing in general.
True.
Like, you can enjoy anything that is musically. Like, that should be all racist type thing. But you know, but yeah, I mean, it is true that there's not a lot of black people that are like into EDM, but it's slowly growing. So I'm kind of like happy about that part in a way, because I used to be judged by a lot of people because of the music that I listened to, which kind of it sucked. But then at a point I got used to it, because in a way I guess that's what made me different from all of them. It's because I listen to like a certain different genre than they all listen to, you know? But I feel like that's just diversity as like in general. Like, the world is diverse.
Yes.
In a way.
Agreed.
I mean, that's just kind of like, I don't know, my standpoint of it, because hold on, I need to adjust myself. Hold on. There we go. Because without diversity, this world would be just probably still as fuck, you know? Because if we're all just listening to the same fucking music over and over again, like, let's just say if one song has only been made, we're all listening to the same song, it's gonna get tiring if there's no like diversity. Like let's just say if someone like managed to do like a little fucking remix of it, that's diversity, because it's in a way another way of the original track, you know? So that's why I really appreciate diversity in general, and being different's cool. Like, it's okay to be different, but it's also okay to like sometimes be stale as well, because you're just kind of like being like original in a way. It's not a bad thing either, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, like some things are good as they are, and but I think being able to take things that exist and build on them and to create new things is important. That's I think it's good to be different. It's good to go against the grain, to not be a follower, but to do something that's different and avant-garde. I think that's all very, very good things to do. I think that's really what separates creators, from people who simply just sit on their ass and just watch the world go by. It's people like yourself and me and a lot of people that we know that make life and the world more interesting, more diverse, because we're creating things and we're putting ourselves out there and we're showing our parts of ourselves to many people as we possibly can, as many people as we're lucky enough to reach. And basically, like, because of that, we get to color the world. We get to make the world more colorful in that regards, which is pretty cool. What we do and what you do.
That's why I like diversity. Diversity gives like every fucking character a different, like, in a way, a role, and it like gives them like, well, how do I word this without sounding stupid? It gives them more depth as a character, like as a person too. So I think that's why diversity is kind of like one of the most important things to have in life. Because what's diversity with, like, what's without diversity? Like just being stale, right? So if you're stale and like you're doing the same shit, you're gonna get bored, and then like people are gonna find you boring. But then like if you're diverse, boom, you're like different colors, like you're about a lot,
Yeah, you're not just one color. You're many different facets. You're many different layers. There's more to you than just the one note. You provide many different notes and many different colors, and I think that's what makes people super interesting. And those are the kinds of people that I seek after, and those are the kinds of people that I hope to have more of them on my podcast, because like, that's why you're here, because like you express many colors and many different facets of diversity that I really feel people need to know more about, and I certainly hope that people get that and understand that because of me talking to you and you sitting down with me. But yeah, we're not done. We're not done. There's so much more. There's so much more to cover. So much more.
There's so much more.
Yes. So can you tell us about your first track? Like, can you? Like, tell me about your first track and how that came about. Just kind of paint a picture for us of your first track that you ever produced.
My first track was like a little trap hip hop beat or whatever the fuck. I was just going stupid with drums, and then like I eventually like learned how like music is made in a way, like structure wise. Like you're gonna need an outro, a drop, or like a main section, or like you're gonna need a bridge and then like another main section, or sometimes without a main section you can just have a song without like just one drop, that's fine. And then an outro. The main things are the intro, the bridge, and the outro. Sometimes you don't even need a drop to even give like a whole track done. Like you can make an intro, bridge, outro, because it's all linked together in a way. With the trap beat that I did, it was only drums, brass, fucking violin, and like a little like thumpy bass. It sounded cool, but I bet if I listen to it now, it's probably the most garbage thing I've ever made in my entire life. But that's okay, because it is a starting point. And I'm really glad to even like have something like that as a starting point, because not a lot of people like be like, ooh, so what if I just like put a bunch of sounds, and like it's not like a full like song or whatever the fuck. But it's a starting point is where like I feel like happy that like I made something and I feel satisfied with it. Like as a kid, I was satisfied with that shit. It still sounds bad to this day, but I'm really satisfied with it. That was my first song. It was funny. I had fun making it, but listening to it now is probably just gonna be like, damn, I came so far, huh? It's like a nostalgia moment if you like re-listen to like your old music. Think about it,
Yeah, but the most important thing is that you started. You started and you didn't stop. Like you gotta start and make shit until you keep going and you keep making shit, but then once in a while you make something good. So like that's just how
Yeah.
it is, you know. I mean that's how my
It's like
that's how my
you're
podcasts
building
work.
up.
Yeah, like you got to actually start and figure out what's working, what's not working, and then you evolve your style as you go, and you make it better and you improve upon it. Like it's like my first podcast is way different from this one. Like I'll tell you that. Like just from the structure to the presentation to like the camera work, like everything is improved because I started and you started, and like, we just kind of kept going with it, which is, I think that's the most exciting thing about being creative, but it's also the most difficult thing, which is why not everybody
Agreed.
is creative, because it's hard to start and it's hard to keep going and it's hard to keep failing.
Sometimes it just takes a little push, though. Real shit.
Yeah,
I
you
agree
gotta have
with
the
that.
passion, I guess. Like, what would you say?
Gotta have the passion.
What would you say you need? Like, well, what was your driving factor for continuing?
For continuing, my driving factor was my passion, because I really loved music genuinely. Like, I'm a B-roll. If music wasn't a thing, I would not be here. But I'm glad music is a thing. So it's all about like putting your heart into it in a way, you know? And the motivation that you either get from people or just from like things that you see or from yourself, that's what's the keep you going part. And with that passion, it kind of like makes it like, you know, bigger, and it makes you keep going even more and stuff. Like, sure, you'll hit a couple of bumpy roads, but that is just part of the process of just being creative in general. So you'll hit a road bump, but then you'll learn to pick yourself back up and keep going afterwards, and eventually you'll be where you're at, like right now. Like, for example, like, I'm surprised I'm even on this fucking podcast.
Oh, please. You flatter me. It's you know, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just doing my thing. It's you know. You know,
And that's a good thing.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad that people want to be on the podcast. Like, come on, like people are like, oh, I'm so honored to be on the podcast. I'm like, yo, I'm just glad you want to fucking be on it. Like, for real. Because like, you know, I'm just like, I'm not anyone particularly like top tier on like the totem pole of streamers or anything, but like people have been super kind. You know, people have listened, people have been on it, and you know, people have been super supportive. And you know, I'm sure the same goes for you. Like, even with your earliest stuff, I'm sure there are many people who like listened to it and told you that it was good and that they liked it, and that kept you going.
Yeah, definitely. People that were just like day ones, they're still in my life still, and I find that really fucking cool, because if I quit music right now, I'll be letting a lot of people down, and that's like one of the things that I don't want to do, because if I do that and if I let everyone down, I feel like I'm just like in a way lost as a person, you know? So without the people that I have met and have interacted with, and it's basically like the people that I meet kind of just drives me to keep going, you know? So I appreciate them a lot. There's a lot of people, for example, in your chat right now, the people that are watching the podcast,
Yeah.
they're there. They're ones that keep me going from bottom to top. I really appreciate them.
Yeah, same here. Like, you know, they're here for you, and you know, a couple of them are here for me, but mostly they're here for you, and I appreciate any support that I can get, you know. But yeah, it's really, really awesome to have people behind you who believe in you and who got your back. I think that's kind of the coolest thing. It's a very, very cool thing, to be a creator in that regard, and that people really enjoy what you do. So, as for where to go from here, what I noticed that you said when you produce a song, you said that you work with you have an intro, a bridge, and an outro. I noticed you didn't say chorus. So why exclude the chorus? And I think I have an idea of why. And I'll tell you my guess. My guess is that you exclude the chorus from your structure because you're not including lyrics. Like, you don't need something to kind of like carry the song forward. As long as you have like the intro, you have the bridge that kind of it kind of pieces everything together. You can do whatever you want creatively in the bridge, and then like the outro kind of like links to the bridge. So like the bridge is like, well, it's literally a bridge between the intro and the outro, and you just have those things kind of linked together that way. But there's no like lyrics that is nothing to kind of like key you into the song. It's just the song as a whole is the key. The song is an entire experience, not the chorus, just the song itself. So what is your reasoning behind not having a chorus? Let's see how close I am.
That is the exact reason.
Oh, shit.
Because I don't really have any vocals to work with. I mean, I do have people that sing, but we haven't made stuff. So therefore, songs that I make on my own time don't really need a chorus. Because I can just make an intro and then build up, drop, bridge, another build up, drop, then outro. Because that's how like mainly EDM songs are, especially for like dubstep and stuff like that. Like, it gets straight to the point half of the time. With my ambient stuff, it's just having an intro definitely is a thing, but like with ambient, it's like more of you just going with the flow, because it's like much more like in a peaceful state in a way, and it's just like only instrumental. Like, there's no drums or anything like that. It's just going with the flow type shit, and that's how I make my ambient. If I do decide to make like some sort of bridge, it'll be just like maybe a pause, maybe add some different types of melodies in there, like more like detail to it in a way, and then go back to like the shit that I was playing earlier, and then like just go with like an outro, and then it's basically how like you can make an ambient track, is just with that type of structure. You don't really need like a chorus to do much to a track, other than like you singing, of course. But you can also have a track with no chorus and still have singing in it, you know? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you were on the mic, or the right mark about just having like no chorus in my tracks.
Cool. Nice. Okay, that's good to know. I have a teeny tiny bit of music experience. I come from a sort of kind of musical family, sort of. But I don't. I used to sing back in the day, but I don't really do so anymore. I really don't, because I don't think I'm very good at it. I
gotta hear you sometimes.
No. Maybe privately, but yeah, I'm not.
Privately, yes, definitely. Yeah. not on the spot.
Yeah. But yeah, like I understand music to a degree. Like I understand like music composition. I have a pretty good ear myself. Which is why like I can like whenever like I've listened to many of your songs. I can listen to it and put into words like what I felt from the song based on like how the song moved. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I can hear something and kind of synthesize a meaning from it. I can just see the meaning in the music. It's pretty cool. I don't think many people can do that. But yeah, it's just from having musical experience. So like I'm familiar with terms. I know what DAW means. It's digital audio workstation.
Yeah,
okay.
You got it.
Yeah, see. I know. so how, I guess, can you tell us about your evolution from going, well, you started with Cubase and then you moved to, what was it? What was it?
Well, I started with Cakewalk.
Oh, Cakewalk.
Moved to
Cubase. And now FL.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess, can you tell us like your motivation from moving from one DAW, I'll say DAW for people who don't understand, from one DAW to another, and why you've chosen to kind of stick with this one right now?
So with Cakewalk, there's like limitations. Like you can only make like a certain amount of like drums to be played at once, which kind of was like a weird thing. But then like Cubase came along, and like I could play like a lot of instruments and like, you know, formally like make a full track. But then with FL, it's just limitless. There are sometimes limitations on things, but with FL, I feel like I can pretty much make anything that I fucking want. I have everything that I need in that software, and I am happy to be where I'm at. I tried Ableton once, but fuck that. That hurt my head within like maybe like 20 minutes of trying to like use it at one point, because it's more of an analog thing, and I feel like FL Studio is like more interface, like friendly, like, you know, just Ableton straight to the point. But FL in a way is also straight to the point in its own ways, and that's why like I feel like FL is kind of like a better place, because it doesn't hurt my head that much, which is good. It doesn't like require a lot of thinking, like, you know, just not that much analog shit, honestly. But you eventually, every time you use the program, you eventually get more knowledge. Like, ooh, what does this plugin do? You click it and you mess with it. Ooh, that's what it does. It sounds cool. The thing is, you always gotta like kind of like watch your meter too, because like the meter is basically like, you know, your volume, whatever. Like for example, clipping. I did not know clipping was a thing until like I hopped on FL.
Oh.
Clipping. Yeah, so clipping is where like your audio is just like starting to sound distorted.
Yeah,
it's
in the red.
Like dangerous to speakers. Yes, in the red.
Yeah.
Because there's always this term, you got a red line, a headline, but it's not really an actual thing. Like it's a joke. But yeah, clipping was one of the like few things that like I learned when I first started with FL, because I was like, damn, why are my drums so fucking distorted, and then why are the bass distorted as well? Because I think the other two DAWs that I had, they already had like a limiter on it and shit. FL started with a limiter, but then at one point I had no limiter, and then I was just kind of like fucking confused. And then that's where like I learned about like the whole clipping process, and I learned how to like actually stop clipping in general, you know, which is kind of a cool thing. That did help a lot, and I still use that tool to this day as well. Like, it's just adding one thing, which is a soft clipper, and it just doesn't like do anything to like the volume that much. It's where it's supposed to be at, basically. It limits the volume, but at a good way, if that makes sense, without actually affecting the quality of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, cause like a limiter ultimately causes, like, is a limiter the same thing as a compressor, or are they different?
Funny thing is, I don't even use any compressor. Actually, that's a lie. I use a compressor for like, I guess, to kind of bring out some of the frequencies. Like, I love to bring my highs a little bit out than usual, so with the compressor you can do that. But you can also compress like your drums and shit to like make it like more slappier or punchier. But personally, I don't use compressor that much, because you can always just do that with a different like plugin. Like, for example, you could literally just use a volume knob to, in a way, make your drum sound even powerful or less, like, you know, impactful, and change the tell of a drum or so, or just add a transient shaper. But you don't really need a compressor to like do the whole compressing thing when you have like things that are already there. If that makes sense. I don't use compressor, basically.
Gotcha. So I guess, what would you, why would you recommend, like, I guess from the three DAWs that you've used over time, which one would you recommend for beginners, to kind of get started?
Definitely FL, because
so straight to the one that you work with now.
Yes, definitely FL. Like, I'm not saying it as like it's like a biased thing, but it has genuinely taught me more than the other two combined. I had to technically figure it out on my own, you know. Like, I didn't know clipping was a thing back then, but then you hop on FL, it's like, oh, but what does this do? And it kind of tells you. They even have tutorials on YouTube like that they explain their DAW, like what does what and shit. That's also another thing. You can always go on a YouTube video and like learn about stuff, and it's not a bad thing at all, because that's where I was like, when people like teaching other people is kind of good because they can use your knowledge to make their knowledge better. That's literally what teaching is. So I do recommend FL because it's very user friendly. It kind of is also straight to the point, because every time you load up FL, you have like a channel rack, you have a kick drum, snare, hi-hat, a clap. You can just make a simple ass beat by just pressing like a couple of blocks and press play, and you have like some sort of beat going on. It's kind of like straight to the point, but very simple, and that's why I like FL, and I recommend FL to like a lot of people.
Okay. So, with that in mind, can you like, well, I'll start off with this way. So, one of my favorite songs by you is "Bleed." It's from your Death Dreaming album.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs that I love from you. And more recently, from your most recent EP, Scenic Route. Scenic Route is my favorite song from that EP. So I'm curious about your like how you went about creating. Well, let's actually start at like the planning stages. How did you plan your album release for Death Dreaming, since that's your most recent like full album? How did you plan that out and get that together?
That was, the planning for that was very, very hard, because in order for me to like actually like make a full completed album, you kind of have to like make things kind of link up towards each other. Like, for example, the first and second song link up like seamlessly. Like if you play it on Spotify, it's an intro, it's a full intro for another song, you know. And that's kind of like, I guess, where it links up. The titles also kind of link up in a way, and then like the outro is also a thing, but the planning for it was just like, what song would sound good at a certain position, like of the album and stuff. For example, Thrones was like the second to last song, and it ended on like a melodic note, you know. It's basically like, you know, it's so for Death Streaming, intro is basically when you're going into like, you know, a deep sleep or whatever the fuck, like you're slowly like falling asleep, and then you're kind of waking up like in a dream. This part, it's literally a full dream. You're waking up, things are like okay, and then like you can still like, you feel like the unsettlingness in a song, and things kind of like go from like being hopeful to like kind of just like lower like negative vibe type thing, and then like kind of like a scary vibe. And then that's where the first song, Death Dreaming, because you're kind of like, in a way, okay, so basically I have a whole thing for this, like a whole lore that I've written down about it.
Cool.
I just forgot like half of it because I haven't really talked about it in a while.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically like the dream part is basically just you like kind of like in a really shit like state. Like for example, like you're on the ground just like lying down, you wake up, everything's kind of like hell around you basically. That's, I guess, in a way, that's where Death Dreaming, the song, the first original song that kind of comes along. This is just describe the scenery, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then throughout the song it like kind of gets worse, but then there are some times where like it gets different and stuff. What was Melt is like, oh, everything's kind of like in a way changing, because I think Melt actually had the track where I made techno for the first time, legitimately, like actually released it. So there is a techno portion, because like it goes from dubstep to like techno, and it's just like a different type of environment, and it's like kind of a thing that I had in the lore that I haven't released out. It's gonna be out pretty soon now that I think about it.
Okay.
Because there's shit coming with it. It's still not done. The whole album thing, the whole planning thing's still not done, because I'm still doing more with it. So with like Melt, you're in a different environment, and then you kind of go back into like the same environment you were in. It's kind of like a little blissful state, but it's at the same time it's still unsettling. And then from ultimus to paralysis, like paralysis, like, you know, like let's just say you have a sleep paralysis demon, you kind of like just wake up and just like, damn, I can't move, and then like there's something in front of me, but it's really not like real or anything. That makes sense?
Yes.
Well, do you think that sleep paralysis demons are like real?
I think they're real. I've experienced sleep paralysis before myself, so like it's very kind of worrisome. It's like you're in a waking dream, because because you it's like you want to move but you can't. Like your brain can't. Your brain is sending the signals, but your body isn't responding. And like you start to hallucinate certain things, and also like people who've liked Milk Blood, know about, you know, sleep paralysis demon. It's very prominent in one of their music videos. But yeah, I know of the concept and have experienced it myself. Yeah.
Okay, so basically that's literally the song Paralysis. I'm gonna be real. It's just like, let's just say it's a demon just staring at you, and then like you're getting all these hallucinations that are possibly happening to you, but it's not really happening to you, you know. And then like I think after paralysis it's ritual, because you go back into sleep and then like you wake up in a fucking like ritualistic like environment or whatever the fuck, because there's chanting, there's like sounds that like are just very unsettling. And then that's where Thorns, because like Thorns is the song after Ritual, because Ritual has like a weird like ending to it. It has like a stretched vocal, and it has like a little like sound at the end, and then it goes to Thorns. Thorns is like more of a like, oh, you're kind of like in a way waking up, but like you're still in a dream, but things are a lot better than whatever the fuck it was like in the beginning, in the middle, and like you're at the end, you're like in the waking up state, you know. So Thorns, happy, positive vibes, melodic vibes. That's kind of describes like, I guess, the ending of it. And then the outro is where like you're officially waking up, because the song ends in like, you know, in a nature environment. Like I'm pretty sure like if you listen very closely, there's like birds, like different types of insects in the end, and it's like, oh, I'm waking up, and the death dreaming is officially over, because it feels like death. It's like happening to you.
Okay. And
that's basically the synopsis of it.
Okay. And like with regards to the songs, so like how did that all kind of come together with like your choice of like I guess the production aspect? Like how difficult was that? How long did it take you to like know what tracks you're going to put into this album? Because it seems like you had a story that you wanted to tell, so it seems like you really need to know what you're going to produce and what was going to be on the album. So like how long did the whole process take you?
So 2 years basically. It took me like maybe 2 years to make some of the tracks that are on the album now. And I eventually like came up to like finish them. I was like, okay, well, gotta make more tracks if I'm gonna make like an album or whatever. And then like I made more, and then I eventually tried to like make it have a lore, because I used to write like sometimes visual novels. Like this is like down. This is very deep.
Okay.
I don't usually talk about this part, but it's a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
I used to write visual
Nice.
novels, and then,
I did too.
like different types of. Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like I always try to like make some sort of a story happen, you know. And I was like, damn. So if I'm gonna make an album, it has to have some type of like fucking story to it. And then that's where I started writing the lore of the album, because each song has like a different fucking meaning to it. I just never really like set it out, but I do kind of want to like release the lore for the whole entire album sometime pretty soon. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool extra.
It would be. I should have done it like, you know, like when the album came out. But it's okay. It's still like
Yeah.
it's not completely done, but it's almost there.
Mm.
What was I saying about like the other stuff?
You were talking about like how long it took you to make it. It took you 2 years to put everything together and kind of, make everything kind of work together kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 2 years to like even like get any of the tracks. Like I started off with one and then I kind of like left it off to the side, and then I started making more that is kind of like in the heavy style of things, and then like eventually like I came across like, some other ideas of an album, and I was like, so if I make an album, what should it be called? And then like I made lore to like make it define its meaning of like I took 4 songs, try to put them all together, and that's kind of like what started it all. And then that's where like the whole idea of an album came, and then like I made more, and I tried combining like pretty much all the tracks into like one story in a way. So it took me pretty much 2 years, honestly. Pretty much 2 years.
Wow, to get everything together, to establish the lore, to compose the songs, to master. I'm assuming there's like a mastering process with everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna call myself out on this one. So if you guys take like a really deep listen to like pretty much the whole entire album, you'll hear like how the masters sound different than other songs. Like there are some songs that are louder than the other ones, because the ones that are louder are the ones that I made like recently, like towards like the ending of like I guess the release or whatever the fuck. That was when like I learned like how to like actually mix properly and stuff. So it's a very noticeable thing. I am calling myself out on that. I probably should have like went back and tried to like remaster all of them, but I didn't. But that's totally fine because it did not affect the quality of the song, and I think that's totally fine with me.
Yeah, which is good. Like, I mean, at least you're honest about how everything kind of came together. So if you realized that like the mastering was different, and like you had improved like later on, like how did you like why not go back and prove it?
I thought about it, but then like when it comes to me, it's just like a release is a release. Like if I release something, it's gonna just be out there. Like I could change it if I really want to, but when I named it Finished, it was just always Finished. Because if I try to add more, it's gonna probably sound bad and eventually get worse to the point where I don't like it, So that's why I didn't like want to like go back and change it,
Gotcha. I can understand that. Yeah. So, So I've been trying to think about how I want to go about asking you this question, because I think I think people would like to know, like how like your process of producing music. I think and also your process of DJing. We've talked a lot about your music production because that's where you started. So obviously I wanted to like focus a lot on that. But I do want to talk a little bit about like how you do your DJ set and everything like that. But like I mentioned before, gosh, do I want to ask? How much do you remember of how you went about producing your songs back then? Like how much do you remember, like from like Death Dreaming? Like how much do you remember how you produced that?
I don't actually know. That's the thing, because so when I first started off with like I guess the first song that I ever made from the album was it wasn't Death Dreaming. It was Melt. Because I was like I was trying to find out like my own sound or whatever the fuck, you know, and had like this little laser sound. But then like I was like, kind of just sounds weird, but it kind of works with the song. So, damn, I don't really know how to answer that question now. I gotta think about it.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's fine, because like, it seems like Death Remake was like produced like a while ago, and like it may not be as fresh in your mind because it was you did a lot over a long period of time, and that's okay. I can ask you. I have another song that I'd like to ask you about. Can you walk us through your process of creating the song Scenic Route from your most recent EP? Because I think that's a good place. I think that's a good song to really kind of cover. It's very recent. A lot of people know about it, and I'd like to hear about how you went about kind of like creating that song. Like, what was your creative process of making that?
Okay, so creative process. My first thought was, well, we started, or I started with like just a melody. It became a melody. I was like, this kind of sounds happy in a way. And then like I was like, all right, well, I guess I will just try to add some drums. And it's kind of like I was trying to go for the style which is called wave. Wave is like the whole entire like the Scenic Route EP. I wanted to go for like something happy because half of my songs are usually like happy, but I feel like Scenic Route does give a happy feeling. That's why like the melody and like that ARP sound that you hear throughout the song, kind of like more like in a happy, like everything's okay type thing, you know?
Yeah.
So with Scenic Route, how the name came to like the name Scenic Route, it actually was just me. I was listening to the unfinished version of it like while I was driving. I was like, hold on, kind of like looking at like something beautiful and listening to this track. It's just kind of like cool because this highway is like a long straight highway and it has like a lake, a bunch of trees. I love trees. And then like it was also during sunset too, and I think that was like the most beautiful part about it. I was like, you know what, this song gives me really happy vibes and I should probably like kind of relate it to what I'm seeing now, you know? So I think I went home that time. I actually like I think finished the song as well. It wasn't completely done, but at one point I actually like finished through, like I made the second drop, even though it's like short. It was originally like more chiller, but like it's like more like expressive, like more colorful in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like how Scenic Route came to be. That it's just like I made a melody, made drums, and then like I felt something, you know, and then I tried to put my feeling into music. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of where it came, honestly. Okay. Definitely that fucking scenery, the little drive that I had helped a lot. It really just like kind of changed the aspect of like the song in general. I was like, shit, kind of hidden with the sunset and everything. Like it's so nice. But yeah, that's how the Scenic Route song became to be that.
Okay. Like, so like when I hear Scenic Route, like a lot of what I think of is like it's very like it's like melodically speaking, it's a very slow expressive song. But if you kind of if you really listen to it and feel it, it feels like you're going really fast along a road. Like, and you're like I probably should have mentioned that I was driving 100 miles per hour. Yeah, exactly. Like, which makes perfect sense because it sounds slow, but I was getting the feeling of a cyberpunk, like riding on like a heavily lit highway, like twilight, like time of night, like 8 or 9 p.m. in like summertime, riding on a highway, just kind of like riding really, really fast. And like I got that feeling with Scenic Route and 90 mph, which is like, you know, obviously 90 miles per hour. It's very obviously like that kind of song where you're supposed to feel that from the song. But like I find that I find it very, very interesting, like that, like how does like were you aware that you were creating something that was both slow yet fast?
Yes, I was very aware of that actually.
Okay.
Because it's like a vibey type mood, but then like you're also just like kind of like you hear the arps. They're like really, really fast as fuck as well. Including like the little plucks as well in the background, and like the vocal is like it's just an add-on, honestly. It makes like more depth to the the song itself. But I was technically going pretty fast, and then there were times where I went slow in traffic because traffic happens.
Yes.
And I guess that's where the slow part kind of comes in, and it's that starting pad that like kind of just the starting pad in the like the song, the sound. That's the slow part in my opinion. It's like the intro, and then like you're accelerating. It is like the little bridge or whatever the fuck, or not intro, or not bridge, but the build up for it, and you're like going fast, and then the drop, and then you're just going completely fast, and then you're accelerating even more throughout that first drop, and like in the second half, like you're just like going like really fast, and then bridge is where like you're kind of like going slower, like taking it easy because the scenery around you kind of want to like admire that shit and just like enjoy it, and then you go back to being fast, and then like let's just say at the end you kind of just like reach your destination,
Yeah,
that's how I kind of see this all.
Okay. Did you Oh, okay. I remember my thought. So, yeah, I had to think for a little bit. So, the idea, like, it's really, like, I find it extremely fascinating that, like, okay, let me see if I'm right on this. Like the speed of the song, it feels like, that feeling when you're going like really fast, but you're in the car, but you feel weightless. It's just kind of like you're cruising.
Yes.
It's like that weightless kind of cruising feeling. But you're going really fast, but it doesn't feel like you're going really fast because it's like you're going so fast that you feel kind of weightless, but you're just kind of like cruising the time. Like, is that what you were going for?
Yeah.
Really?
Technically, yes. It really was, honestly.
Oh my
Because,
gosh,
like,
that's crazy.
when I'm speeding, like, sure, the adrenaline is fine, but like, I'm just like, just enjoying like the fast pace of things, and like, it's all about like, for example, cruising. You're vibing, you're going fast, but you're also still cruising at the same time. That's you kind of actually explained it. Holy fuck.
I told you, I just have an ear. Like I wasn't kidding. Like I really just have an ear for these sorts of things. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I've been around music for a lot of my life, and I search for meaning in many things. I try to get to the heart of music, of symbolism, of philosophy. I try to get to the heart of it. I'm not like I try to know enough that I know what I know, but I also know that I don't know so many things. But I try to really kind of like feel it, and like that's why when you did that fucking lo-fi set, no, it wasn't lo-fi, it was ambient. When you did that ambient set at Gym Lights that one time, like I was 100% real. Like when I sent you that message, like it felt like my soul had been cleansed. Like that's why I can use that kind of terminology, because I seriously I feel music and I seek the meaning, and it's like that's why I love that shit. Like I love music in general, but I've really enjoyed the stuff that you've put out, and I like to understand things. That's kind of, you know, my thing.
That honestly means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's why I was so happy to like be able to talk to you about these things, was like I want to know if my thoughts are actually right. Like like that's just really
I mean,
cool.
you are thinking right. You are doing that. That was like actually kind of spot on. I'm gonna be real. That is like the most spot on response of a fucking like track I've ever gotten in a while.
Nice. I'm so glad. So when it comes to your lo-fi stuff, and your ambient stuff, not really lo-fi, but mainly ambient. Let's talk about ambient stuff. Your ambient stuff is completely different from like everything else you usually do, because you've done drum and bass, you've done like really like heavy, like I forget like what the genre is called, but like really just kind of heavy like drop stuff, like mainly what like Death Dreaming is. Like Drifting has a lot of just kind of like boom, like you just say it drops and it kind of things.
Yeah, it's mainly like a dubstep album.
Okay, so yeah, that dubstep kind of feel, and like your ambient stuff is completely different, and I think people sleep on your ambient stuff, like not literally, as funny as that would be, like literally. I mean, obviously I've fallen asleep to your what is it Beneath the Air. Oh, like, is that what the
In Between Air?
In Between Air, okay. Yeah, I've fallen asleep to that album. It's so good. I mean, it's not an album, it's an EP, but either way, like I think people sleep on your ambient stuff because it's so good. It's really good. So like, how did you like? I guess like what mindset do you have to be in to create something like what you did with Beneath the Air? Between the Air, sorry.
You're totally fine. So with that, half of that shit was like either me being like in a very chill mood and just like kind of bored and have nothing to do, but like in a way like I'm kind of just like down to experiment. With that like first song, I was just like, I pulled out, I think it was the first, I pulled out my keyboard and I found like a plugin. I was like, hold on, this kind of sounds cool, and I just started playing melodies, and then like I ended up like recording the whole entire time. Like that whole song was me actually like just fucking around, and like it just has reverb, sparkles. I guess the sparkles like little like the shit that you hear in the piano, like towards the end. So it's kind of nice, but I just happen to be like in a chill mood and just kind of like, you know, fuck around and find out type. I do love ambient though. Ambient holds a special place in my heart.
I love ambient stuff myself.
Especially with like, yeah, especially with like melodic stuff. I used to make a shit ton of melodic dubstep back then, like in 2015, 2016. There are still some songs up there that are melodic dubstep. It's on YouTube, but I don't think it's on SoundCloud anymore because the label kind of went down and their subscription got revoked.
Yeah.
But I used to make that, and I feel like the melodic side is like, it just stuck with me, other than like the hard stuff, you know. I always loved hard stuff, but I always loved like the melodic things, you know. That's why I started making ambient and lo-fi and like basically all the chiller genres that you hear from me. But the ambient is just like, it's on a whole different level than what I expected it to be. To explain that, I was just kind of like, in a way, I was down, and that whole ambient EP was just me kind of like coping with like my emotions, and I was putting my pure emotions into that whole entire EP. Like for example, Withered is a short track, but it feels like the meaning of the track for me is just like, I'm kind of withering away. I'm like kind of like getting hollow as like a person, but then like I don't feel that hollow. I still feel alive, you know. But we all have those moments. But the whole entire EP of In Between Air is basically pure emotion, including like with the first song.
Yeah.
Like sure, it's me experimenting, but like if I play a chord and if I feel it, Like if it actually pull like maybe a heartstring or two, I'm gonna keep going with it. And as long as it sounds good, I'm gonna keep going with it. And it just sounds really good. The end result I'm very like happy about, because I didn't expect like the whole thing to blow up. Because there's one track on there that has 44,000 plays, I think 46,000 plays.
Wow.
It's called The Forest of Blossoms.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. Funny thing is, that is a track that has been like that was made like maybe 2 years before it got released. I find that kind of funny because I made Ambient before, like in 2020. That was like the song that I made as well. And I find that kind of hilarious because I feel like shorter songs are like the most popular ones, but the longer ones aren't, and I'm kind of like sad about that in a way. You know, because with a shorter one, you can still tell a story with the ambient song, but with the longer one, you get like a full like in-depth feeling of like just the whole track itself.
Yeah.
And that's why I like longer ambient songs. There's this one song called Long Whale Song by SymphoCat. It's 19 minutes long, but throughout the whole song you start to get into it, and now you're just like you're feeling you're inside of the song. Like your brain creates a scenery that the song is giving you, you know, and then you put yourself into that scenery, and that's kind of like how ambient is for me personally.
Which is exactly how I felt when you did that Gym Lights ambient set. Like with the visuals that you had. Like, did you make all those visuals yourself for that set, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
It goes with like the lights in the world. Have you been to the world yet?
I haven't been to the world myself, but I've seen it, but I haven't been there myself physically.
Yeah, so basically how I made like the whole visual thing, I literally went to the world, sat down, I started streaming in my OBS, and I put it into like the player, right? And then I would start from scratch with each visual and to see how it would look on the screens. I tried staying with like a warmer color because it's an overall chill event.
Yeah.
Or a sleepy event. I tried staying with like warm to dark colors, because if you do a bright color, like it's a flashbang or some shit. Like,
yeah.
You don't want
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
want people to stay like, you know, as relaxed as possible. That's the whole point of the event. And there's also not a lot of, you know, chill events that are out there that like also does like ambient shit as well. Which is why I kind of just started doing my own thing with Gym Lights, or inside Gym Lights. And ambient held a special place for me, and I was happy to share that with a lot of other people, because I got a lot of people into Future Garage, which is also another one of my favorite genres that I've released like maybe 3 times in general, but like I have made more than 3 times like that original amount of songs that I released, because Future Garage held a special place in my heart too, along with ambient. They're kind of colliding in a way, because the ambient is the atmosphere and the Future Garage is like, you know, the drum side of things. But if you combine them both, that's literally what makes it Future Garage, is the atmosphere and the drums itself. Like, I feel like those are the 2 most important things in the tracks, or in the genres, in my opinion. But yeah, so the visuals, going back to that, it took a while. I'm still like kind of working on new visuals. I have like a whole new project like ready to like kind of show for like a new event if I really wanted to do it, but I want to build more, you know, for it, because a lot of people somehow like Gym Lights, and it surprised me, because everyone prefers like, you know, the hype shit, like, oh, let's go fucking party and like get drunk type shit. But it was very mind-blowing that people really enjoy Gym Lights, because it's just a chill event. It's like more relaxing type of event.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I put it on a Sunday, because, you know, like Sunday is basically like where everyone kind of like unwinds from like, you know, partying and stuff. So I'm kind of glad that I put it there, and I'm kind of glad that I also like I used to host it like every Sunday, but like I'm taking a small break because of other reasons. I'm getting a little
Okay.
But that's totally fine. It's coming back soon though.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely like need to get off my ass and like actually like physically like go to one of these events. But like, yeah, like I jeez, man, like the music you created, like was that were those were not all your tracks, right? I mean, they were like stuff that you found.
Not all of them were my tracks.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I figured they were stuff taken from elsewhere. But okay, I as much as I still want to gush over that gym lights set, I want to keep gushing over it because it was like I needed that. Like on like that day I just like I had my edibles and I just kind of like I was just in my chair and I was just like I was letting the visuals just do their thing and I was just gone. It was so good. It was so nice.
That's really nice to know, honestly. I'm really glad people just kind of like lose themselves into like the music. That's why I love gym lights too, and just ambient music in general. You can get yourself lost into it, you know, like it becomes like in a way part of you. You know, I'm pretty sure like the edibles enhance that effect because I know how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely nice to hear that like it actually, in a way, helps people, and it actually like I guess they really feel the music, you know, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah,
as long as you're feeling the music, it's good.
I literally cried.
Literally, you did mention that.
Yeah,
too.
I literally cried.
If you don't mind me asking, what made you cry about it? Like,
I mean, it was like I said, like, cause like it was like I'm a very like my brain is always going. My brain is always thinking. I'm constantly working on something, thinking about a project, strategizing about something or other, and like I'm just always in it, which makes it hard for me to like, you know, be a VR chat streamer in general. But like it was just like the feeling of being, of like. It was like your sins being forgiven type of thing. It was a spiritual kind of thing in a way, and it was like kind of just letting yourself kind of be in the moment, and it was very much kind of like a spiritual kind of thing. Like I'm not religious, but like just kind of allowing yourself to feel the music and being in the moment and just letting yourself kind of relax, like having that deep sense of peace that I rarely have because again my brain is always going. It was just such a relief. It was so nice to just kind of like lay there and be content with just existing. So that's probably
that makes me happy.
That's probably what made me cry. Yeah.
It happens to like me as well. Like I usually just be chilling. I could also be high as fuck and just lay back and listen to music. And there are times where like some songs really just hit like a string in my soul, like or in my heart, for example.
Yeah.
Like it does give you a really deep feeling, and I think that's what ambient is supposed to be. It's supposed to give you that feeling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important to me.
Yeah,
it's a big part in my life.
Yeah, ambient like clears my mind in many ways. I love ambient so much, and like I know you say like people like to go to like the huge party stuff or whatever. Like they like to go party and get drunk. Like if I were a DJ, if I were to ever become a DJ, I would definitely be a house and like progressive house and ambient DJ, 100%. Like as much as I love
progressive house.
Like I love trance. Like I fucking love uplifting trance. I love the shit out of uplifting trance. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I love the shit out of that shit. But like I guess it would probably be progressive house. I love that so much. Especially like the stuff from Europe is like so like there's so many like fantastic like producers from Europe that like are awesome. And like I love that so much. Also from Japan. Like there's some great producers in Japan also. But like that and ambient and uplifting trance, like that. Those would be like my things, and probably like retrowave too, because like I fucking love retrowave also. So I'd probably have to like I would be like the chill DJ if I were to ever like do that sort of thing. So I think there needs to be more of that. Like, sure, it's nice to get drunk and party and all that, but like it's fun to do that every so often. But like honestly, sometimes I think people just need to like let go and just like feel something. You know?
I agree. I agree with that statement. I honestly agree with that statement. That's why I did gym lights, because I feel like it would help a lot of people just kind of realize that, you know, maybe partying every day is just kind of like, you know, it's not like lame, but like it's okay to have a break from it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why like I was just like, sleepy type of event, gym lights. Ooh, I should probably do that. Then I did it, and yeah, I'm really happy that it's like it's changing a lot of people that I never really thought it would change, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I kind of influenced that in a way. But it's kind of surreal to me for some reason, because I never really thought I could do that. Like, especially with my younger stuff, I really never thought I could just like, you know,
move people.
Like, yeah, move people in a musical way. And I just that is the most happiest part, in my opinion, with music, is I'm doing that for other people.
Yeah. Not
just me, but for other people, you know?
100% you are. So I want to talk about like how do you for the DJ side of things, since you don't plan the majority of your sets, so what is your process of doing a DJ set?
Well,
like, how do you get ready? Like, how do you get your songs? Like, how do you kind of go from song to song? Blah 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 blah. Like the whole nine. What is your process as a DJ before you like do a set? Like, for example, like how did you get ready? Oh, well, actually, this is different because you did an IRL one tonight. But like, I guess in VRChat, how do you get ready? And is it any different from IRL? Any IRL DJ set? I'm sure it is, but to what degree?
Yeah, it kind of is in a way. So with VRChat, if I get booked by like, you know, like somebody that owns like a metal club or whatever the fuck, I'll just like, ooh, okay, hard. I just go with like what they want as like a mood. Like I always ask them like, what do you want me to play? They either give me like, you know, anything goes. If I do anything goes, I'm like kind of like in a way all over the place, but I'm like still like kind of in a way still telling the story with the music. But like it kind of just depends on like what people want, you know? Like if they want hard, I'll give them hard. If they want like softer shit, I'll give them softer shit. And then like with me planning sets, I always like make an intro for like planned sets. For example, Sanctum is like my first big like actually DJing one with popular artists as well. I planned an intro for it, and it kind of actually works with the venue itself. I tried to put the looks of a venue into a track or into an intro, if that makes sense. And it does work. It's kind of cool because you have VJs also trying to do the same thing. And the fact that like I know this is a completely VJs and DJs working together, crazy. It's really good. It's better than just doing shit solo. Everything is always better with someone, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to like me planning sets, it goes by mood, and then like if I really want to play this song, because like for example like Death Row, if the song is popular, or the song is popular for sure, I'll play it, and then it'll probably like bring out a lot of energy to the crowd and like get everyone fucking moving and stuff. Like you kind of have to like give a little bit of energy here and there, you know. That is like just for like hard shit, but for softer shit I'll like probably like do like some wave melodic stuff, and then like I'll pick a song before I even hop into VR. And I was like, okay, well, we'll start off with that song, and then kind of just wing it on from there. Like, most of my sets right now are just like me winging shit. For example, the one in IRL, I planned like maybe 3 or 4 tracks beforehand, and then everything else I was just winging it. Because it's techno. Techno really doesn't require that much planning, but like you still gotta like know how to DJ techno properly. But I did fuck up like maybe once, but that's fine. We all fuck up here and there. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
What does a fuck up look like for you?
Bad transition. Let's just say like a song keeps going on, but you're like trying to transition the other song, but it just sounds like it's not working at all. Or there's also another time where like it can just go off beat. You have the wrong tempo or something, or you just didn't load it in time, and the other song is still going, and then now you're trying to like figure out like how to transition that song. It's a lot of thought process when it comes to like transitioning, especially with like winging sets now. I try to like go by the key of the song, and then if the key sounds good and it fits with the other track that it's currently playing, I can transition and it'll sound seamless. Now, if a song that is in a bad key or just like in the wrong key that is the song that's playing, it's gonna sound weird, and then that would just kind of like be a bad transition on my part, because it's all about the ears. Basically, it technically is all about the ear, and if I fuck up, I fuck up. It is what it is. But we come back, and that is like the most important part after a bad transition, is you come back, you don't dwell on it, and you just keeping that energy going, you know? And I think that's what's kind of like acceptable with bad transitions, because it's like, oh, you had a bumpy part, you can bounce back from it. Like it's not over yet. Like you gotta keep going, basically.
So like, are you like listening to songs in real time? Because like, if you're just kind of like, are you like no, that song, not that song, not that song, that's okay, that song, boom. Like, is that what you're doing, or are you just like you know already?
So with some of the songs, I usually listen to like every song before I like download it. Honestly, like even if it's just like the intro to a drop or something, I still always like, I know kind of like what the song sounds like, and if it just sounds well, we'll just try to put it in. Like choosing song selection is also important. So for winging sets, it's also a very hard thing that I'm still struggling on to this day. It's like still trying to pick the right songs for that whole move that's happening. Like for example, like I wanted to change from dubstep to like some chill shit, like to wave or whatever. We gotta find the right key. We gotta see if you can like slide it to that current tempo on time, and not like actually like, it has to be like kind of smooth, you know, not like all of a sudden. Because if you do it all of a sudden, it throws people off and it kind of gets people confused. I mean, I realize that I've done it multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of like how I guess I wing shit now. Because like, yeah, song selection is really hard, but you gotta know your songs before you download it. You can't just like download like any track and not listen to it, and then you listen to it when you're trying to like wing it with another track. Bad idea.
So
always know your songs before.
Yeah. So like, but how do you stay within the genre? Like if you're in a specific genre and you have like 100 songs, like how are you able to just like, obviously you've listened to them all, but do you just remember them based on the name of the song? Are you just like remembering hundreds of songs within a certain genre? Like how does that work?
I wish my brain was like a whole collection like that.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would load in the track, and then like I would probably like go like either straight to like the drop or the build up, and like play it in my headphones. People won't hear the things that I hear in my headphones. So it may look like I'm just standing still, but I'm just like kind of like just listening to the other track and stuff, and see if it like works with the other track. And then like if it does, we'll wait until like that transitioning point comes up. Transition, boom, you're in the other track.
Okay. So you are like, you're pulling up the song and then you're listening to it. So like, what happens if you don't like find a song that transitions well? Do you just kind of force it? Like, how does? Because again, you're just winging
transition?
it. Well, I mean, like, if you're trying to find a song to move on, like with your set. So like, what if you're struggling to find something? Does that ever happen? Does the struggle ever occur, or has it always just been like easy
does.
for you?
It does occur. There are some times where songs are like at their end, and like I don't have like enough time to like find a song. So it's either like you or I fucking sometimes stall. I won't even lie. So what I would do is I would just put like reverb like from the tail of that last song that was playing, and then like I still try to find like a song, or I can just start the song from the beginning, like the next song from the beginning, and then boom, you're on the next song, if that makes sense.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can just like let the song end and then kind of like ease yourself into a completely different genre or a completely new song and just kind of see where that takes you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. See, I'm learning how to become a DJ. I'm learning from Red. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from Alonzo. Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna be a pro DJ in no time. It's gonna be great.
You got this.
Yeah.
You got this. If you actually want to learn, I can teach you.
That'd be pretty sick. Like I've done like a couple of it's not like I'm just kind of fooling around here, but I've done like a couple of playlists on YouTube. They're public on my YouTube channel, blah blah blah. I've done like a couple, just but
Hey, I mean, you build out a whole track selection. Think about it. That's like your first step in a way. You find the songs, and then you kind of like find your like track selection, like when you're gonna play things. But I guess, yeah, with YouTube it kind of works like that. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, just like just kind of pulling stuff together. But yeah, it's at this time it's just kind of like it's a fun thing I like to do. I have a good sense of mood. I can sense a mood and kind of like flow with that mood. But I can't talk about myself because this is still about you. So, given where we're at, there's still more there's so much more I want to talk to you about.
I'll try not to carry the answers a little long like I usually do. I'm sorry.
Oh no. It has nothing to do with like I love the detail in your answers. Don't even worry about it. So, really, really quickly, I would be remiss if this is part of my podcast called the Sweet Talking Podcast, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your love life, because that's what I do. I do that usually, if I have permission, and I like to talk to people about it, like what are their standards, what are their, like, what do they look for, and that sort of thing. So are you single, Terk?
Yes, I am completely single.
All right.
Back to my hobby.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm completely single.
Now you know. Now you know. Now you're aware. Get in there. All right. So if you were interested in someone, how do you go about, letting someone know that you're interested in them, and what do you look for in a relationship, or what would you look for in a person that would draw you to them?
Honestly, the way that, like, I guess personality, one thing, of course. Personality is always like the top thing, because without a personality, you're kind of just like, oof, you don't know. But personality is one. Common interest is another. There are a couple of times where I did end up in relationships that we didn't have common interest in, and it was fine, but then like it was like arguments about like different other things and stuff as well, and then like boom, it just kind of breaks off. So if someone likes the same type of music as me, that is a huge plus. The music part is not really included, but like equal time is kind of like just what I want from like the other person, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by equal time?
Like, let's just say that you just want to watch movies and chill and just fucking vibe out. Like, that's totally fine. Like, that's the time that I kind of like, and I feel like me as like a chill person, I would like to just like chill out, watch movies. Don't really have to do much, you know. I'm kind of a simple man in a way. So if they like movies, I like movies too, you know.
Okay. So so mainly personality. And how do you let someone know that you're interested in them?
Oh, I'm gonna be real. That's like kind of like the hard part. But sometimes you just gotta like tell them like yo, you're kind of really interesting, and I wish to get to know you a little bit more, you know. And then from there, hopefully it'll go up and not downwards.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, sometimes you just have to be, you just gotta kind of say it. But what leads you to actually saying that? Is it the personality? Is it just finding out about their interests, having like mutual interests, mutual taste in music? Like, is it just kind of like all of those things kind of leading up to like you actually like telling them that you're interested, or is it something maybe deeper than that? Like something that you particularly need or would require in a partner?
That is a good question, because I usually don't really think about it that much. But
yeah, most people don't. But that's why I'm here.
in a way, like I guess relating to things, like past things, current things, future things, kind of just like, you know, relating in general. If that makes sense. I guess that kind of what's I guess a key thing with me and another person. If that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense. Does it make sense?
So it sounds like, if I'm understanding, it sounds like that you're looking for a specific kind of connection, like something that feels kind of natural and effortless, and things
natural
just kind of
and not forced.
Yeah, something that feels natural and not forced. It just like every time you chill, it's always good. It's always good, you know? Something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have a preference?
I'm a simple dude.
You're a simple dude? All right. And do you have a preference for like long or short hair?
I do like both long and short hair, but sometimes like longer hair is nice. But short hair, if you can pull it off, you can pull it off. But I do like both types of hair.
Okay. And if someone wanted to become friends with you, or just wanted to kind of get to know you and talk to you, because, you know, you're kind of a big deal. You're kind of a big deal.
Am?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm a simple dude.
I know, but you're kind of a big deal. So, like, if someone wanted to come up to you and say, yo, hey, I love your music, blah, 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 blah. Like how would you recommend someone who has, you know, like, hey, like, I know that guy. Like, how would you recommend a person kind of like talk to you and approach you without them seeming weird, and a way that you would be like apt to respond to them and kind of like acknowledge them? Like, what would be the best method for someone to do that? What would you say?
Damn, that's a hard fucking question. I don't know. I just when it comes to me, like with just like talking to people, it just happens, you know. Like, I don't really try to expect anything, because I know like you should have expectation in conversations or stuff like that, but I don't really expect much. But if it just happens, it happens. I just go with the flow of conversations, you know. That's why earlier, like, why I was I'm gonna be real, why I was late to this podcast. I was also talking to somebody, because we were like, after my set, we were like just sitting down talking. I was just drinking like a Sprite, and then like we were just like kind of like talking. We introduced each other, and then like they were like, oh, I really liked your set, blah blah blah. And then like we started talking about like our common interest and of like music in general, and like of how like we kind of like go around like in the city, you know. But I mean, I got their number, but we're probably like gonna talk more. But that's just how like just the flow of things, you know. It happens randomly.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's like kind of the cool thing about like interactions. It's just like it's random as fuck.
Yeah, but So you will just allow things to happen? Like, do you feel that there's like any sort of like you just kind of let things occur? Like, is there any sort of like do you look for something like to kind of like, because like honestly, Terk, like you and I you and I finally had a chance to like have a conversation like literally at Dunny's party, like what was it, like 2 weeks ago? That's like the first time you and I have had a chance to like talk, aside from in the DMs. To kind of plan this whole thing out.
My apologies.
Yeah. So like that's what I mean. Like you're a creative guy. Like sometimes you're a tomato. And like so that's why I'm like, I think how should people like approach you? But like you just say like you just kind of let things happen. It sounds like you just kind of let it be as it be.
Like if they start a conversation with me, I just go with the flow, And then if we even like if we go deeper like into like I guess things about us, and then that's where like the click probably will happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like just talking about ourselves like passionately and like what we like about the most about like the smallest things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just passion talking basically.
Okay. So what are you are you straight, bi, anything?
I'm straight, yes.
Okay, cool. So the person who you got the number
I
of,
could say some.
Yeah, it was a girl?
Yes.
Cool. That's awesome. Good on you, dude. Good on you. Yeah.
It was like completely random as fuck, honestly, because like
And that's usually how it is.
I was just wanting a Sprite.
Like that's usually how it is. You got your Sprite and you got something sweeter as well. You got both things. Which is actually really funny that you say you got our number, because like who gets anyone's number anymore?
True, because everyone just either goes by like social media or anything.
Yeah.
But like a number in a way is like more important because it's direct contact than a social media type of direct contact. Like it's their phone, not like a platform or whatever, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is true. It is a little bit more personal in that way. Yeah. I haven't gotten someone's number in a fucking long time.
It just felt, but that ended. So ooh, streak ended.
Yeah, hell yeah. But all right, cool. That is good to know. That's good to know. So when it comes to what you're doing creatively, and how things are going for you as it stands, like where would you like to be? Where would you like to be in about 2 years from now?
Hopefully playing like big ass festivals, honestly, but like you can only dream big. It's fine if I don't play a festival, but with all the experience that I currently have, I'm still kind of like in a way satisfied. Like sure, I want more. Like everyone's gonna want more of like something, and that's completely normal. That's completely understandable. Like, but I would love to share my music around the world a little bit more than I am doing now, if that makes sense. So yeah, festivals. I do see myself probably playing a festival within the next 2 years for sure. If not, then next month, possibly.
Nice.
Exciting, but like it's a big step, huge step from going from like casual IRL shows and just kind of like we're going from being home making music, then like doing VR stuff, and then going to like IRL, and then probably even bigger in the IRL scene. It's a big step, way big.
Yeah, most definitely. But I mean, like you're already doing the IRL stuff, which I know we didn't talk a whole lot about the IRL experience. We talked a lot about like VR stuff, but like is IRL that much different from VR for you? Just like really quickly.
Because I don't. Oh, I thought my tracker just kind of died. Hold on. But yes, it is a big difference because one, I don't have a microwave on my fucking face.
Exactly.
That's one.
Yeah.
Two, reactions aren't fucking delayed. It's like, it's instant when the drop hits, you know? In VRChat, when you're using a streaming player, it's gonna like be like delayed like maybe 5 or 6 seconds or probably even more. You might get lucky if you got like 1 second delay, honestly, but it's a really big thing because you're actually in front of a real crowd, not avatars, but real people and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're actually like kind of like getting all of their energy and shit, and it's like kind of filling me up, you know? Like when someone is having a fun time on the dance floor, I feel that, and it kind of like, I guess, hypes me up to even go kind of like, you know, harder and have much more fun on the, like, you know, the stage and shit. It's really nice. It's a really big difference than I get in VR. VR though, I would say that there was a lot of fun times in VR. It still is. We even had like, I did a set for Red Saturday Rave. Everyone was kind of like, you know, I had to go to work like right after the fucking set, but that was totally fine. I woke up just in time to even be like, you know, preparing myself to play a set because I wasn't even scheduled. So I joined that shit, and then like the energy was there, yeah, but like everyone was like, you know, kind of like mellowed out and shit. But as soon as like maybe a couple of ending tracks, like Death Row for example, really popular song that brung everyone to front of the stage and went fucking crazy, and that was like that's like my favorite parts about, like, I guess, events in VR, is like it brings a lot of people together in a way. And it gives you that energy that you want, you know, because I like to play in front of a crowd that is like, in a way, actively listening, you know, not just complete background noise, but like actively listening is cool. With IRL, people are mostly actively listening unless they're like fucking drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is a common thing. That's just a common thing in like most rave scenes or party scenes or anything like that. Sometimes it's not really all about the music, it's all about, like, you know, the interactions that they have. But I really love music, so in a way it's both interactions and music with both IRL and VR as well.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a really good way to sum that up. That was really, really great. So let's see. I have a very few more questions for you. So if someone were interested in getting started with music production, what would you suggest for them to do to get started if they wanted to, you know, have their start like you did at the prime age of 12? Like, how would you tell someone to get started, or recommend someone to get started?
Well, one, you gotta find like a digital audio workstation. That's of course one, but you don't really always need a digital audio workstation to make music. You have your hands. You can tap like with a beat or whatever fuck, come up with an idea like that, and then like if you have like your phone, for example, you can just use your recorder, like literally use your recorder, and then you can get like a free app on a computer, which is Audacity or something like that. Put that and like try to like align your recordings and maybe cut and slice all of them and shit. Boom, you kind of like have an idea. But when it comes to like an actual like digital audio workstation, you should, I would say, in a way, know what you want to make. Because when I was like young, I was like, I want to make this type of stuff, and then I tried copying that. Like, I tried getting references and stuff from like other people, like songs and stuff like that. References is also a good thing when you're starting out, because you wouldn't really know what you need to do if you don't pick a reference track. Like, I listen to a lot of music, but they're like, most of my music are sometimes referenced by like other tracks. Like, trying to find a good example. Tripped Up. It's a really old song of mine. It's like kind of like wave, but is actually influenced by this one song called Q by Brothel. Brotho is one of my favorite wave artists, and still have a really big influence in me in my like melodic side as well. So that is definitely one. But always know what you want to make. If you don't know what you want to make, that's totally fine. You can come up with an idea on the spot. And I feel like that's the cool ways of like being creative. It's like sometimes this idea won't work, but this other idea will, you know. So sometimes it's a hit or miss, but you'll get a hit like at one point. But does that answer your question actually?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to
Okay.
10, how lucky do you think you are in terms of, you know, your notoriety, you know, the people in many communities like the Undergarden and various other communities, I'm sure, who've heard of you. I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, like how lucky do you think you are?
1,000. 1,000 completely. I am really grateful in the people that I fucking met. I will say that like with the whole like Twitch streaming side of things, it all started with this one streamer named Nepherti. She knew who I was from Virtual Base. I didn't know who she was, but it was kind of cool because I saw her streaming. I was like, hold on, let me see what this stream is. And then like I popped in, I said hi. She went crazy and like she fangirled, and then like we got to know each other like literally right after that. Like we became like really good friends and shit. And then she introduced me to her friends, and then her friends introduced me to a lot of other people. It's like a whole like, you know, connection type of thing. And like Socks is also a huge person right now for me. She does not like stop playing my music sometimes, I'm gonna be real, and that makes me happy. She is also one of the reasons why I have two tracks that are called Virtual Devil, because she has exposed my music to a lot of people, and I am very, very, very grateful, because half of the people that I've met was also from seeing Socks as well.
Oh.
And like from other people like knowing like my music and shit. We go into like a Discord, we have a fun time, and that's how I eventually met Red. And then like I think I met Red, or actually I met Chels off of Red, and then Neppy off of Chels, and then like we all just kind of like it started coming together and shit. And like that's why like I love connections and stuff, because you meet different types of people as well, and they become your friend, you know. Sometimes you'll have like a bumpy road, but that's just, once again, it's life. And I'm really grateful to have like the people that I've met in VRChat in general, and just I don't know, I feel like I'm really lucky to have even a community that I have a Discord server that sometimes like it's active, like we hop in a voice chat and we all just chill, we all have a fucking blast, and it's just, it means a lot, you know, that I get a lot of this. I feel very lucky that I have these friends and these people that are interested in my music too, because without people being interested in my music, I would not be on this podcast, and I would probably like not be releasing as much. So I am very 1,000, probably like 10,000, 100,000, million. I'm very grateful for all the people that I met in my life.
Yeah, I definitely feel that for sure. So, a couple more questions. We're in the process of wrapping up. How would people know when you're a tomato? And for people who don't know, let them know what that means.
So, alright, so tomatoed. Being tomatoed. It's basically me being high. So, my voice sometimes goes from like a lower tone, or like goes like kind of like a lower, like fuckboyish type of tone. I don't know why I call it that, but someone called it like, you sound like a fuckboy. Someone literally told me that. I was like, no, I'm just very high. And like, I kind of just stuck with that because it was just kind of a funny thing to me. Basically, if I'm like saying cheers, I'm like either like on a DAP pin or just actually drinking some water or some shit, because I love water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so me being tomatoed, is me being very like giggly, and like I sometimes disassociate. Like if someone asks you a question, I'm just like, you know that meme where like the cat's just staring off into space and someone like the other cat's just like, yeah. So I am that like cat that is staring off into space. Like you could be talking to me and I could just disassociate and just stare off into space like, damn, things are a little wild.
I see. Okay. Yeah. All right. So like, yeah, like, so people will know that you're a tomato based on your general body language and like how low your voice is.
Yeah, and also I sometimes like be like, so there's this guy named Damien. I'll just say his whole fucking thing. Damien Luck 925. He's very spiritual. He's actually like a down to earth type of guy. He gets high like in all his videos. He does pranks, but it's like every video that he does, it's like, you know, it's like a motivation type of like he does his like these motivational parts where like it kind of just stands out to me, you know. It's like telling a lot of people that watches him saying that he has a purpose in life, and not a lot of people get told that, you know. And for him to like do that and inspire a bunch of fucking people, it's just really nice. I love him. Like I really love his content as well. He's just funny as fuck, especially when he's high. And there's always a thing that he will always do, is just like faded in a hole, faded in a hole, faded in a hole, faded in a hole, faded in a hole. I do that shit sometimes when I'm faded. I used to do it a shit ton when I first found out about Damien Luck. I won't even lie. Like you can ask Red, Grim, you can ask pretty much anyone in the undergarden community, because I would just do it around them. And I would like get them to do it with me, and there's always this like fucking Fulcrum, come in.
Yodi gang.
Were you there?
No, I know about it. I know the guy. I don't know him, but I know of the guy. I know the whole thing. It was hard to get away from.
My fault.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it got harder because of me just like saying the same shit. Like he basically, I always quote that if I'm like faded as fuck, and I sometimes like be like faded and like just him. I'm faded, you know. If I do that shit, I'm faded. I'm faded as fuck.
That is fair. Like, and like I already knew that was for everyone else to know. I already know. I already know what's up. So you know, but other people gotta know. But yeah. So I guess lastly, are there is there anything that you would like to say to anyone who is, you know, looking to become a DJ, or someone who may look up to you? Is there anything that you may want to say to them to kind of wrap things up?
Okay, yeah, I do actually. So, production. It's hard when you first start out. You can't always like get your first song done immediately. It takes time. Music production is literally time consuming, and it takes so much time. But the ending result of everything you make is worth it, because like you know, like what you want to do next, and like how far you kind of want to go with music and stuff. It just don't stop like doing what you're doing, you know. Definitely don't stop that. Like and just trust the process legitimately, because it is okay to be in a roadblock, but one, that's just also a part of the process as well. You're going to overcome it, and then you'll probably make something better than what you usually make, you know. And I feel like that's a personal thing as well, because that shit always happens to me. I be taking these breaks for a while, and then I open up FL and I could fucking like pop up a fucking banger for like within an hour. It's crazy to me. So I'm pretty sure if I can do that, everyone can do it in a way, if that makes sense, if they just trust the process, you know. Definitely fill your brain with more knowledge than what you should like have, and don't be afraid to like ask for help. Definitely, because I know a lot of people are afraid to ask for feedback or just help on anything that's like music related. Like for example, if someone wants feedback and they ask this person, they either could take it in a harsh way or in a softly way. But sometimes hard criticism is the most criticism, like the main thing you need. Because if you get that soft criticism shit, it's just like, oh, damn, okay, well, thank you. But then if you get like the hard criticism, it's like more meaningful, you know? Like, especially going in detail of what things that needs to be worked on. That's hard criticism, and that's the type of criticism that I feel like that mainly, I wouldn't say everyone, but most people that are starting out, you know, definitely don't ask for help. That is the main thing. But definitely keep going and trust the process in music. And when it comes to DJing and shit as well, knowing your track selection is very important. Knowing where you get your tracks and knowing the quality of the tracks. The quality of the tracks are kind of like important for like the songs and stuff, because if you play songs in a low kilobytes per second, like for example 128, that's very hearable because you can hear like the little bits and crushes or whatever the fuck. But if you do a 320 by kilobytes per second, it's actually way more clear. There's no bit crushing or anything, unless like if it's really intentional in a song, then it's totally understandable. But definitely try to get better high quality like tracks always, because it just sounds good. Track selection is always one of them. And knowing your controller, like this is me talking on DJing like aspect of things. Knowing your controller, you gotta fuck around with your controller before you can really like make a full plan set, in my opinion, you know. It took me a while to get used to my controller, which is the FLX4. It was my first 4-deck channel, or actually my first 4-channel controller, because I had a 2-channel at the time. Getting used to 4 channels was possibly the biggest jump I've had in DJing ever. But I'm not saying start with 4 channels, but start where you feel comfortable at. Because when I jumped to 4 channels, I was like, holy shit, this is a lot to like take in. And then like keep in mind that I was like also like on a rush to even learn this controller. But it takes time. It took basically like maybe 2 days for me to learn the controller and then like actually use it to its full function and stuff. But time is basically like the key thing when it comes to like DJing and music. You just have to use it correctly, you know? And don't give up. Definitely don't give up.
Cool.
Because there might be a little bit of like regret after like you give up. You're like, damn, kind of wish I could just go back to it. It's okay to go back to it though, but do not give up on it completely. Because if it's something that you really love, and if it's the passion that you really want to go for, keep going. Do not stop unless you need a break, you know. Don't push yourself too hard, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense to me. I have no doubt that a lot of people need to hear that, and people also should keep in mind that you are 11 years in. You're 11 years into this sort of thing, so people need to keep time into perspective. Like, this didn't happen for you overnight. You didn't become who you are overnight. It took time, it took effort, it took passion, and it took a lot of trial and error. And I think it's really, really important for people to not only hear that directly from you, but to keep that in mind in their own lives and whatever they may be creating, whether it's DJing or music production or streaming or content creation on YouTube or video editing, whatever it may be. I think people just need to keep that in mind, that everything comes in time, and you and I are pretty much living proof of that, given how long you've been at this. I've been doing this podcast for probably around a year. I think it's around a year at this point. I'm close to, if not already a year that I've been doing this. So it took a lot of time. I hope things continue to go well for you, and hopefully they continue to go well for me too. And that'd be really, really awesome. If I agree. If we continue to push forward and not give up. Because you're doing good shit, Terk. Like, don't ever let anyone tell you you're not doing good shit. You're doing some really awesome stuff. Your versatility is so wide and broad, and it's really, really great to see and to know someone as talented as you. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring people, and definitely tell people when you're going to be doing. If you decide to do the teaching thing, you decide to do a class, let people know. Let people know. Yeah, you crunched for a second, but that's all right. That's just VRChat. You crunched for a second, but you're good.
Nope, that's actually my hip tracker.
Oh.
I don't think it was plugged in all the way.
Oh.
Oh, did it not charge? Holy shit. Oh, no, it's not plugged in at all.
Oh, shit. Well, hey.
So,
it's cool. It is what it is. It's a side effect of VRChat. We're good. We're ending on a good note. We're ending on a good note. You're gonna be a little bit hunched, but that's okay. It's cool. No worries.
That's fine.
Yes.
It's gonna be fixed in a second.
Yeah. So, where can people find you? Where can people find you and your merch? So don't forget to talk about that. So
oh yeah, should I go ahead and talk about that right now?
Well, tell people where they can find you first, and then you can kind of talk about the merch stuff.
Okay, so where to find me? I have a link tree. It's just the Linktree /Terkoiz. You can find me on there. I usually have pretty much every social media on there, but you can find me on Twitch, which is Terkoiz EDM. For SoundCloud, it's Terkoiz Music, sometimes Terkoiz Extras, because I do have an Extras account, but I never upload on it. It's just basically my older shit when I was like, you know, kind of was just like not in a way taking it seriously, but sort of taking it seriously. And then I made a new account to take everything seriously. So that exists. Twitter, which is Terkoiz Music. Spotify should be just Terkoiz. Instagram, Terkoiz EDM. Bandcamp is is it Terkoiz Music? Damn, it's in the link tree. All that shit's in a link tree.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think everything's in the link tree for sure.
And merch?
Merch. Okay, so merch is going back on sale next month. I have been planning on a lot of things. I've been working on a lot of things behind the scenes. I really haven't told anybody this. Not a lot of people know that I was like working on merch shit again.
Exclusive. Hell yeah.
Yes, exclusive. Because not only that, like that's also not the reason why like I started working with merch. I have I'm just gonna say it right here, right now. Have a ambient, I would say like a kind of like a long EP. But it's kind of short in a way. It's not like a full album, like 12 songs or 10 songs, but it's enough to basically, like, kind of just go with, like, the flow of the fucking album and shit. And it sounds perfect all together. It's still in the works of that, but that is coming out possibly next month as well. But might be a little early.
Most people would say it'd be a little bit late, but I love your confidence.
I have confidence in this fucking ambient thing. I'm like, because making ambient stuff isn't like, it's not hard, but it's meaningful to me. So I'm very excited to finally put that ambient EP out. And then after that ambient EP, things will change very differently.
So, look forward to change. Change is coming.
Yes. Big things coming soon. I really said the infamous word.
Nice. All right. Very, 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 very exciting stuff coming from Terkoiz. I'm looking forward to it. I like he released Nostalgia very quietly like 2 days ago. So like, yeah, check that out. That song was part of his Gym Lights set that made me cry So check out that song. It's really, really cool. It's really it's simple, but like if you have any sort of memory from like the PS2 days, that song is gonna get you. It's gonna be good for you, and I definitely encourage you to take a listen to that. I've definitely enjoyed it. So as for me, where you can find me, if you're watching this right now, obviously you're on YouTube. So thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate you watching me on YouTube. Hopefully you'll feel the need to subscribe if you enjoyed this podcast. You can also find me on Twitch. Those of you who are watching live, that is at Nepherti with 2 eyes on Twitch and on Twitter. So on Twitter it is Nepherti with 2 eyes. On YouTube, however, it is just Nepherti with 1 eye. If those of you who are watching live would want to check me out there, you can check me out there. And also I need to mention the actual podcast Twitter, and also you can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/Nepherti, where you can find different rewards if you want to support me, and that'd be pretty cool if you would like to help me to do more stuff and produce more content. That'd be really, really awesome. Basically, rewards start at just $1. You can subscribe to me just like you would on Twitch, starting at $1. So I encourage you to check that out if that's something you're interested in doing to help support me. And that'd be really, really, really awesome. And thank you again to my patrons currently. Thank you so much for believing me, and I will continue to do my best to provide what you all deserve, as my dedicated supporter. So thank you so much for being there for me. And with all of that said, Terk, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, dude. It's been so nice to go through like the ins and outs of your music that I've analyzed and listened to and have felt and experienced, and to finally get a chance to like sit down and talk to you about all of it. I think I got through all of it, which is good. I hope I touched on some other stuff too for other people, but there was a lot of just personal stuff that I wanted to like engage with you with and talk to you like to just get your thoughts about, and I'm glad I could finally do that. It was such a pleasure to be able to do that, and I'm really genuinely looking forward to what you do in the future. I think it's going to be really, really awesome. I'm so fortunate to know such really, really interesting, talented people. Like all of my guests are super interesting, they're interesting and or talented in their own unique ways, and you are just another wonderfully talented person that I'm hoping that I can do something for, help you with anything, support you if it's just like listening to your music. But if there's anything that I can do, I'm happy to, like, if you like ever want someone to give you like feedback on a song, I'm happy to do that. I love that sort of thing. So whatever you feel the need to do, you can come to me. If there's anything I can do to help further your gains, I'd like to do that. So thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you for even having me on this thing. Honestly, this was actually kind of fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real.
I
never expected to have fun, and like,
but you were so nervous.
I don't know. I was. Shit, I'm kind of like, in a way still am, but like it's way less than what it was. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, and I really appreciate you for having me on this. It means a lot.
Yeah, it truly is my pleasure, and I'm glad that you were so willing to come on. It was a long time coming. We had to kind of like plan around everything, but we made it happen. I'm so glad that we did. All right.
Excluding the like technical difficulties, but that is okay.
Right. Yeah. We had, because of the technical difficulties, we had to run a little bit later. By a little bit, I mean a lot. This is the latest I've ever gone in terms of doing this live, but hey, it is what it is. And but I just,
some of it's my fault too.
Yeah. We'll share the weight. It'll be good.
I am totally fine with that.
Sweet. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you all hanging out as Terk and I had our conversation. Hopefully you learned something. I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. If you took something away from this podcast, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. And of course, please like the video. Please share it with people if you think they will learn something from it or get something out of it. And of course, subscribe. That'd be pretty awesome to help support me and my channel and the content that I'm trying to create for you guys. So thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to me, like truly, truly. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another Sweet Talking podcast with your host, Nepherti. And once again, I was here with Terkoiz. Please do check him out on Spotify and all of his socials where you can find him and support him and the merch that's coming out very, very soon. Please don't sleep on this guy. You will regret it. So until next time, you guys, I will see you in the next episode. So please stay safe. Please take care of each other. And until next time, mwah, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
I love y'all. Thank you guys for listening. It means a lot.
And by
Uh-oh. Did I DC? Did I lose you? Did I DC? It's either me or Terk. Uh-oh. Oh no!